Shout out to Sean Ranklin.
Oh my lord.
Yep, I'm toxic.
I'm a mature adult with a business degree.
Subscriptions, you gotta subscribe, get those custom emotes and shit, subscribe. Execute clown mode.
Big.
999999.
Oh my god, he's drinking gin.
That makes me cringe. Ugh.
Well, hello everyone. It's your boy White Tavern here. And yeah, we're about to begin. Just let me turn down this music. So now today, we're gonna start with some raw fill. Then immediately after that, we're gonna go to KOGaming. Now, what is KOGaming? You might be asking yourself. KOGaming is when DSP decided to make a new channel and chase trends and decided to make edited videos. So he started making reviews and all kinds of edited videos and other nonsense. So today we're gonna check them out and see if they're trash or they're pretty cool. Wait. What the fuck? There's noise on my microphone. Fuck this. Be right back. Yeah, this shit sucks. How about this? Let's check this out. Let me hear how it sounds. Yeah, I think this sounds good right now. So I'm gonna continue like this, and you guys tell me in chat if there's any issue. So, DSP Gaming, what was that shit? It was trash. KOGaming, I was talking about. So first, let's start with an epic moment for Wings. What? Why is Streamlabs deleting messages in my chat? What the fuck? Never mind, Streamlabs being a detractor. I don't know why long messages are being deleted, but let's continue. If it happens again, I'm gonna lean in on Streamlabs. Now, Wings of Redemption, popular e-beggar and an overweight individual, got his famous moment on Reddit in the subreddit called r/I'm a total piece of shit. And as you can see, this went very viral with over 50k upvotes. So yeah, see what it is. So let's hear out what it is, why he's getting canceled. And yeah, I don't usually cover Wings on this, but this is pretty viral to not talk about. So let's check it out.
I made a point that the new generation of females are whores.
This dude.
And that you have to be naive to think that girls, young girls, aren't already having sex. I did say the age of consent should be 12. You know why I said that? Because growing up in high school, I knew girls that were like 12, 13, 14, fucking on the regular.
Brought the topic up. Remember, I was like, we were brainstorming for topics, and
yeah, child pornography is such a loosely based thing. But even 16 at 45, that I'd let that slide, because a 16-year-old can make her own damn decisions. I'd cut child pornography off around 12.
I'm in Jersey, North Carolina.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Where would
wait.
you cut child pornography off on?
Oh
No,
my
he-
God. Yeah, this is pretty fucking cringe. And what he said in response. So essentially, this is your run-of-the-mill Wings of Redemption opinion. And oh, so this is his response. It says, "This is me, and the clip I was responding to was something I said on PKA, which is a podcast he was part of, in 2010. I get harassed daily by internet trolls, and this clip is me being frustrated and explaining myself poorly. I don't approve of the thing, nor think you should sexualize the small people." And this, as you would expect, it got absolutely annihilated with minus 8480. That's a very nice figure. Now that's it with Wings. And then he went on Twitter. Now here I've opened DSP's Twitter because It's a very interesting read as always. I don't fucking know what it was. It was very, very stupid. Let me just check. Wings of Redemption. It's gonna come out. I think it was this. Oh, there we go. Jordy Jordan. Your boy. Now, there was also people trolling him on TikTok because of him kidnapping somebody, allegedly. Yeah, very, very interesting content from your boy Jordy. So now here, yesterday he said, "It seems I'm getting canceled today. I was young and didn't think that far ahead when I made that statement 11 years ago. I don't agree with it at all." Well, he was in his mid-20s. He was like 24. It was basically my fucking age saying stuff like that. Oh, it's a little bit insensitive. But that's it with your boy, Jordy Jordan. Now, what about your boy Phil? Now, your boy Phil recently upgraded his tips goal. And by upgraded, I mean made it a little bit more scammy. Because now he has 3 tips goals, basically. One is for 50, second is for 100, and third is for 150. And you know, you get your regular perks. Here on Twitter, nothing interesting as far as I know. There's not a lot of begging because he reached his goals the 2 times he decided to change up his stuff. And basically it's just DSP's Twitter. Nobody cares. There's like 2 likes, 2 retweets. There's apparently 1 comment. Some fucking nonsense. He also had a stupid rant about China for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So yeah, that happened with DSP. Nothing really interesting. Kat's sister, you know, Jenna, she was in an adult movie, but I think you guys should know by now that went its way around Twitter and stuff. Yeah, so tonight what we're gonna do is something a little bit more special. We're not just gonna watch the Phil content, but we're also gonna be reviewing it. Now, what this means is that I've preset a couple of parameters, let's say. A couple of things that I think are important in a review. And you can go to the description of this stream if you want to access this. You know, you'll just be allowed to look at it, but if you want to open it in a separate tab, you could do that, or you could just watch me do it. Now, this is the explanation of the different parameters. We're going to be judging KOGaming's reviews tonight. First, it's going to be informative, because reviews are meant to be informative. Reviews are meant to be, you know, kind of an educated opinion about a product that would maybe make you buy it, but you know, it's used so you can make your opinion as part of your research about a product. Could be a game, it could be anything. Now, production value is how well produced the video is, how good it looks, how different the videos look, so it's not like a template kind of thing. Number 3 is entertainment value. Now, this is a little bit subjective, but come on. We know a fun video and we know something that's not fun, so we should be able to rate it. Next, we got uniqueness and personality. Now, this is how a channel can stand out through its personality. And we're going to see if Phil has some personality to make KOGaming stand out. 5 is the quality of the gameplay, because we're going to be watching gaming reviews. Therefore, there's going to be gaming clips in it. And we're going to see how relevant the clips are to what is on screen, or it's just a random clip from his streams. And now here in the end, we got a final score that is an average of the previous scores. And this is the scale. As you can see, it's from 1 to 10. I've shown like brief explanations that you can go and check out by yourself. But that's how we're going to take it for now. Now, Manatee in chat says, will the final score be a mixed bag? It's probably going to be a mixed bag. But then it'll be like a 9 out of 10. It's a mixed bag, 9 out of 10. And also some other cool quotes are, what was it? It's almost a masterpiece, but it's still a masterpiece or something. We're about to find out tonight. Then we're gonna watch some raw fill, but this shit hasn't even started yet. So we're gonna go there later. So now let's just start with the KOGaming stuff. KOGaming1. And we're just gonna dive into the reviews. Now, I'll prepare you real quick about what this is so we don't have to watch a video of DSP explaining to you for 25 minutes what this channel is about. This is his channel that it's a spin-off channel of DSP Gaming, but in the beginning, he wanted it to be kind of, I don't know, as a secret spin-off channel, and he didn't want it to be associated with KOGaming, but he did leave some metadata on his site somewhere here. So it was kind of linked automatically through the algorithm or something. He also wanted to get a special URL, which now is KOGaming1. That's where all the jokes come from, because there's a bunch of other KOGaming channels. And at some point, this channel was making a lot of money, including his 1 million view video of Homefront the Revolution, video in which he said it's the worst game ever he's ever played, and we're gonna take a look at that review. It's a very interesting review. Also, I like how there's a playlist called DSP Gaming Emergency Vlogs. It's a pretty chill and interactive playlist. Now, it should be called The Hateful Truth Rebooted. Here it is, 44 videos. Not gonna go through all of them. I'll try and go through the ones that I've played myself so I can say to some extent how much I agree with him. And let's just see first. Oh, Fallout 4. Now, this game I've played. Probably some of you have played as well. And let's dive in and see. Now, Zion Agent in chat says, I still don't understand how that video got so many views. It was pretty trash. Now, it was mostly clickbait. It was just, you know, that's kind of what happens when you say this is the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing I've ever seen, the worst game I've ever played. Of course, there's going to be some people that are interested. Why? How the hell is this the worst thing ever? So they're going to watch it just for the sake of watching. Now, this is his terrible intros, and this is supposed to be an edited video channel. And the way that he describes this to you is like, he put in so much effort to make like edited, interactive style content with like super high production value and stuff. And this channel was also making a lot of money, which made DSP transfer all of his other content. As you can see, all of this this garbage towards the end of the life cycle of the channel. You can see exactly where the channel died. And you can see here Eternal Darkness, Persona 5, just garbage, just garbage. And this was a channel that was making views and was making a lot of money. He made so much money from the Homefront video that he went on vacation. So yeah, let's get into this. First, let me just check out in chat. Chat comment from When Pigs Fly says, it's baby's first edit. Yeah, the edits are terrible. And we're going to reflect that into the ratings eventually. Now, first, we're going to go with Fallout 4. Right? And, okay, let's add a little bit of formatting. Fallout 4, that's the first game that we're going to look at. And after we finish watching the review, we're going to come back here and do a rating for the review. See how good exactly is it.
What's going on, everyone? Phil here on behalf of KOGaming, and welcome to the Hateful...
Phil here on behalf of KOGaming. There's nobody else in KOGaming. There's not gonna be a George in KOGaming, or a Michael, or a Tevin. They don't exist, it's just Phil.
Truth Rebooted, my gaming review series where I give
Hateful Truth Rebooted.
you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest video game releases. Today I'm going to be talking about Fallout 4, the long-anticipated sequel to the Fallout franchise, which many people have been hyping and waiting for quite some time.
Now this, just looking at this text on your screen with the massive glow, or is it a shadow? If it's a shadow, it's the worst made shadow in life. Like, you have white stroke with black font. Terrible. Just terrible. This is a 1. Straight out of the gate. It's garbage. And this is his first edited video in 2016. So this is the video that launched this channel, apparently.
some time. Now, I'm fully aware that this game came out over 2 months ago. However,
Yeah, some nice lore in chat by Manatee. It was so good he skipped the wedding to play it. Yeah, it was Panda Lee's sibling's wedding, and DSP stayed in the hotel to play Fallout 4 for a review, I guess, and he didn't go to the wedding. Yeah, David Zerpa says, minimum effort, maximum profit. That's exactly what this is. It's just riding the trend of edited videos. That's what you get.
I took the time to do a very complete playthrough of the game, including most of the side content, a lot of free world roaming, and completing all the different possible endings of the game so that I could give you the most complete review possible. Also, I'll be honest, I got caught up a little bit in the holidays and didn't really have a chance to work.
Also, to mention, as a note for the review board, the gameplay shown on screen is garbage. It's literally nothing.
Work on this until
Might as
today.
well this could have been a podcast review. It's terrible.
So here we go. Now, I'm a fan of the Fallout series. I fell in love with Fallout 3 back on the Xbox 360 and very much enjoyed Fallout New Vegas, so much to the point that I actually did second playthroughs of them for YouTube. So when Fallout 4 was released, I was very pleased to see that the series kind of stuck to its roots in a lot of regards.
This gameplay
The
also
first-person
trash.
shooting, the VATS system making a return and pretty much being kind of unchanged from the original games, the fact that the narrative trees in dialogue still exist and you can say different dialogue choices to
They always existed. What are you talking about? It's a Fallout game. What is this criticism? And this what happens when you one-shot your videos, when you don't script anything. He just sat in the same layout that he sits nowadays, except it was a love seat instead of his gamer chair that squeaks. He's just sat there and rambled for 10 minutes about Fallout. And that was it. There's no, like, I don't even think he wrote points to talk about, because he genuinely believes he's that good of a reviewer.
control situations. You can also use your different abilities through RPG style leveling, such as speech skills, to unlock different conversation trees and such.
Yeah, that's literally Fallout stuff. Why do you have to explain that?
There's looting, there's a
Oh, there's looting. Okay, in an RPG. Thanks.
ton of content, there's open world exploration. Again, a lot of the cool conventions from the original Fallout games are very much present in Fallout 4, and that's a good thing in my opinion. Among those returning factors are a lot of improvements that I feel really helped the game. First of all, the improvement in graphics. And, you know, a lot of
Yeah, of course. The first thing we gotta talk about is the graphics, because it's DSP.
people complained about Fallout 3 and New Vegas, stating that those games kind of had outdated graphics when they were new. Fallout 4 certainly isn't the cutting edge of next
Dude, I need to fix the Streamlabs thing. Okay, I'll let this talk and I'll turn it. I don't fucking know why it's banning.
gen visuals, but at the same time, it definitely improves upon the formula of the previous games and brings it into the modern era. I definitely like the improvement in the gunplay, in particular, using the first-person shooter gameplay outside of VATS. In the previous Fallout games, this felt really clunky, but in Fallout 4, it almost feels like you're playing any other first-person shooter, no matter what weapon you're using. It's very much welcomed, and it makes the game a lot more uncumbersome when it comes to using weapons really.
This is the fucking raw fucking video. This fucking sucks. Raziel, he said he worked on Premiere Pro, which I very much doubt, because Premiere Pro is not for animals, and pigs are only the 4th smartest animal, so I don't think he could use Premiere Pro. This looks like Movie Maker for real.
quickly.
But there's also not a lot of editing going on. It's just random gameplay of something and massive letters on screen. This was outdated even in 2016. This was outdated in 2010. God damn it. Angry Joe was using green screen in like 2010, and he had a complete fucking setup and everything.
And not having to constantly go in and out of VATS in order to actually score kills against difficult enemies. In addition, Fallout 4 has the largest...
Yeah, I turned off the bot for the chat, so you shouldn't be getting your message suspended or deleted or whatever.
Number of followers for your cause than any of the previous Fallout games. Although, quite honestly, I don't really think they improved the AI of these followers too much, where constantly they're kind of getting stuck on walls and they don't seem to be following you all the time, only to kind of magically teleport to your position once you enter a doorway or a new instance. But the fact that there are more of them, they have their own personalized stories, many of them have their own companion missions to unlock, adds to the amount of content in the game and is very well welcomed. In addition to that, a huge open world with insane amounts of side content, and this is one thing that I definitely have to emphasize about Fallout 4. If you want to get the most out of the game, I strongly recommend that you either use an online wiki or you buy the strategy guide, either or.
This is fucking stupid. This is a fucking stupid take. If you want to get the most out of this game, go and read the content that is in the game. Read what is in the game instead of experiencing it as you're intended. What is this fucking nonsense? No, DSP is fucking stupid, and I mean, he's a Let's Player, so I guess you should read a guide so you have some idea what to do, but for me, let's say, in my opinion, so I can defend myself with this statement, in my opinion, you should experience stuff raw. And RPGs are such expansive games that you can't physically do everything. They kind of eliminate completionism in a way, because you can't have a character that will have all the skills unless it's Skyrim and you spent like 10,000 hours in Skyrim. But even in Skyrim, you can't do everything in one playthrough. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Fuck it.
Because there are so many missions in this game that are unique and interesting, you're gonna want to be sure to get
many unique missions. Very... not a generic statement at all.
Them all, and during my playthrough of the game that spans some 40-some hours of gameplay, I did my best to hit upon every single mission that either gave you a trophy.
Craig says in chat, the text covers so much of the screen that there's no point in having gameplay behind. And the gameplay behind it is trash. It's just your run-of-the-mill gameplay. It's not combat, it's not anything, it's just a terminal in the background. Look at this. There's nothing there.
It really felt like it had its own narrative storyline to be sure that I was doing a semi-completionist run of the game. In addition to even all of those improvements, the game sports new legendary level enemies, which will drop loot, and this is a cool addition. In previous Fallout games, really you either had to just craft your own unique items at a bench, or you had to find the best weapons in the game. In Fallout 4, certain high level enemies will actually drop really good weapons, armor, and things. It feels a lot more like almost a Diablo-like experience where...
And also the text on screen is super uncreative approach. It's just having text just slapped on your screen just says you don't care. It literally just says you don't care, because you couldn't think of presenting it in a better way. And this is the most DSP thing ever, is to just, the first thing that comes into your mind, you just slap it there, and that's it. That's content. And that video fucking sucks. Look, it has more dislikes, and I'm gonna add to it because I think genuinely it's a terrible review, and I'm gonna reflect this here in my science sheet. We're gonna do this later.
Fighting these high-level enemies is going to pay off and actually give you a reward for your hard-earned win. And of course, in addition to all of that, there's a brand new settlement and crafting system by which you can set up settlements all across the Commonwealth, which is what they now call Boston. You can have settlers move in and take different positions in these different settlements, setting up defenses and stuff against invasions. You can actually have supply lines running between these settlements for the very first time.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Why is it covered by text? That you could have anywhere on your screen. You could have a specific screen for it, but he just couldn't do it. He couldn't make it. Couldn't make it like a transition or something. It was just has to be plastered on your screen the entire time. There is text on your screen.
And then you can actually gather...
Just scroll through this. It's always some text on your screen. Something jumping on your screen. And actually, worse than these videos are his top 10 lists, where each entry is his own video. And the playlists are all fucked up because it's DSP. So yeah, very interactive.
Resources and supplies to craft your own weapons and armor. Yet the final major addition to the Fallout 4 game and franchise.
And yeah, good point in chat. He has two watermarks on screen: KOGaming and DSP Gaming. Fucking nice.
Guys, by actually customizing your armor, you can add different attributes.
So nobody steals this content, right? Because we would all love to have this on our channel.
Attributes, strengths, weaknesses, and basically great cool improvements, even visual things like making your headlamp look a different color, or have actually the Pit-Boy, Vault Boy on it. It's pretty cool, the amount of customization that's possible in the game, and this is all new stuff added to the franchise with Fallout 4. Now, despite all of those noted improvements, the game pretty much does kind of play very similarly to Fallout 3 in New Vegas. You're going to be wandering through the Commonwealth, you're going to be trying to solve a mystery, in this case, what happened to your son, where did he go, you're going to be helping out various people that you run into along the way, there's going to be different factions that are going to be seeking to recruit you for their own cause, you're going to have different moral choices and dilemmas that you're...
This last couple sentences, you could say it for any of the last 4 Fallouts, except the sun part, and it would still apply. It's just like super generalized stuff. It's not really informing me of anything about the game, and I've played the game.
You're going to be faced with along the way. You're going to find some followers who'll follow along with you on your quest. They're going to do a lot of shooting and a lot of looting. You're going to kill hundreds and hundreds of generic enemies to finally get to the boss level monsters, the rare level spawns that drop rare items, and yada yada yada. It is pretty much kind of the same formula as the previous games. And if anything, one of the major complaints that I've heard from many people is Fallout.
That's actually not his complaint. That's the complaint that he's heard from somebody. So if you go to the comments and you type, DSP, what is this stupid complaint that the 4th game in the series is similar to the previous games in the series? He's gonna say, that's not my complaint, bro. Somebody else's complaint.
4 just feels like Fallout 3 with a few modernizations. And honestly, that's kind of a very accurate way to describe the game.
You can build stuff in Fallout 4. There's so much more stuff than Fallout 3. Like, this is the fence sitting gameplay, and in the end, you'll see what score he's going to give the game.
Does it really go outside of its way to break the mold? No. What it does is it goes down that common and very well-known road that Fallout 3 and New Vegas went down, but it adds in different factors for those who want to expand upon that experience. You can very well play this game ignoring the crafting, ignoring the settlements for the most part, and for very few story missions that require it, you can just play this game as if it were the previous games and enjoy it at your own pace that way, or you can really delve into the new content and enjoy it for what it is, adding to the gameplay experience. So overall, Fallout 4 is a pretty lengthy game, a pretty hefty game.
What? How did we get to... Because this was supposed to be the conclusion of this part, right? Talking about how it's similar, and then he says, overall, it's a long game. How does this connect to anything else? Well, I'll tell you why it doesn't connect, is because he's literally freestyling it as it is. He doesn't have it written anywhere. He doesn't have any bullet points what to talk about. This is what his business was at its, let's say, at its peak, when he wanted to actually generate actual produced content. This is what the produced content was. Terrible.
And when it comes to the amount of stuff that's in it. And although there are repetitive fetch quests, there are radiant quests that infinitely respawn, forcing you to either do gathering or killing a certain number of enemies in order to get experience, a la every RPG ever. There also is a hefty amount of unique experience stuff in there that you're going to want.
Think The Witcher 3.
To do. A standard playthrough, just going through the story of the game, is probably going to take you 8 to 10 hours tops. If you rush through it, I'm sure you could do it even faster than that. But if you're really going out of your...
Why would you rush through an RPG? How does that even work?
Your way to experience the unique side content of the game, you're certainly going to get anywhere from 20 to 40 hours of gameplay. Now, if you're a completionist and you want every weapon, you want to craft...
Let's fact check this asshole. How long to beat? And Fallout 4. And let's see. How long is it? And let's check on the PlayStation, because I think he played it on the PlayStation. Now, single main story, average. Now, rushed through the main story, 17 hours. This motherfucker was talking about 8 to 10 hours. Is 17 hours rushed. Or leisure time is 43 hours. So he's factually incorrect. And this is based on 1,500 people rating. So he's actually, in his review, didn't even bother to look up how long it takes. And the DLCs take 4 hours. Not the game itself. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. Or I don't know what I'm talking about. But the fastest speedrun, any percent, is 44 minutes. From 3 A sample of 3. So take that as you wish.
Out of your way to experience the unique side content of the game, you're certainly going to get anywhere from 20 to 40 hours of gameplay. Now, if you're a completionist and you want every weapon, you want to craft every high-level item in the game, you want to get every settlement and have the whole map under your control, now you're probably talking upwards of 50+ hours. For 60 bucks, that's a pretty good value, and in my opinion, it really does feel like...
DSP. Big ups to Brian is cool 789 for the subscription. Thanks. It's awesome.
Like the most complete Fallout 4 game when it comes to bang for your buck. But you know, with the positives come the negatives, and I'm certainly not one to ignore that. Let's take a look at some of the things that I didn't particularly like about Fallout 4. Number 1, the most startling thing of all, the frame rate. It's still 30 frames per second, but not really, because a lot of the times when you're doing a difficult firefight with multiple enemies, or if you're running through a critical area with a lot of stuff that's kind of, you know, loading around you, the frame rate plummets. And it's funny because this was...
Yeah, the FPS is not that great in that game. I have it on both on PC and PS4, and they're both kind of a little clunky, but it's a Bethesda game.
Complaint during Fallout 3, and here we are how many years later, and it's still exactly the same in Fallout 4. Now, disclosure, I played this on the Xbox One, but I've heard the same exact issues exist both on the PlayStation 4 and the PC version of the game, and that's just unacceptable. Why couldn't they advance the graphical engine to the point where it could load everything it wanted to do and not have to drop the frame rate into the toilet? I don't understand that, and I'll be honest, when you're doing some really critical fights here, it could get very difficult to try to hit what you're trying to hit, or, you know, do what you're trying to do when the game is locking up. I don't know how many times...
It's a very nice explanation to pad out the video, because you can have mid-roll ads on videos that are less than 10 minutes long. So he had to make every single video, as you can see here in this playlist. Every single video is over 10 minutes. A little bit. What is this? Naruto fucking Ninja Storm. A little bit over 10 minutes. This is not. He should have made this 10 minutes, so he could have put mid-rolls on it. Maybe he couldn't even put mid-rolls on it. I don't
I have to do something really quickly, and the whole menu locks up on me, and now I'm wondering if I'm going to die or not. In addition, the game still has critical game bugs. I already mentioned one with the AI of the companions, where they don't necessarily follow you everywhere they're supposed to, but there's other bugs too. Enemies will get stuck in walls, and all the clipping issues of previous games. Yeah, all that stuff still exists, and it's kind of frustrating that, again, it's supposed to be the modern Fallout. It really does feel like you're kind of playing Fallout 3 with all of its shortcomings, with a lot of modern additions, but they didn't fix the issues from the previous games, and I really have to throw my hands up and say, why?
I gotta throw my hands up, you guys, for Fallout.
Why? What gives? Why didn't Bethesda take the time to fix these known issues from the previous installments? And so, ultimately, Fallout 4 is not a perfect game. I'd say it is a mixed bag, but a bag that weighs far more heavily towards the positive, with the incredible...
When you say it's a mixed bag, that implies it's a 5, 6, maybe a 7 at most. Let's see.
Amount of content in the game.
It's a mixed
the fact that there's so many new additions
that weighs towards the positive. This means nothing. It means nothing.
And so many things that were really attempts at improving the game. For the most part, I can kind of overlook its shortcomings and the fact that Bethesda
gameplay is trash, by the way.
Didn't fix all the problems from the last installments. It kind of is.
When he talked about guns, he didn't show any guns. When he talked about armor, he didn't show any armor. He didn't show any quests or any cool stuff in the game, or any encounters that you have, or any settlements that you have. He didn't show anything. It's just trash. It's just what...
Subscriptions.
Oh, another sub. Thanks for the sub. Hate Army One. Big ups.
What it is, you got to take the good with the bad, and being that this was one of my longest playthroughs ever, one of the games that I really was enjoying every moment that I played it, I wanted to take my time to do everything in the game and really do a full completionist run of it. I really enjoyed Fallout 4, and I kind of find myself saying this was an ultimately very positive experience. Those negative...
You gotta subscribe, get those custom emotes and shit, subscribe.
Why are these real recent subs? I have no idea. But big ups to whoever subbed. I just heard the notification like 15 times.
Things really didn't nag on me too much.
Didn't nag on me.
And so ultimately factoring in
ultimately, let's see the ultimate rating. So it's a mixed bag. It's a... what the fucking name was? It's a mixed bag that weighs towards the positive. It's a positive mixed bag. So let's
good
see
and the
rating.
bad. I'm going to give Fallout 4 a rating of 9.5 out of 10. That's right. It is one of my favorite games.
What? How this review did not indicate in any way that it's one of his favorite games. He was talking about this game like it's a 6.5, a 7.5. And I know I hate fucking... I hate number reviews. That's the dumbest shit. I would prefer to just say, I recommend this or I don't recommend this.
That I've ever done a playthrough for. It's right up there with some of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah, this
yes,
is
there are
terrible.
shortcomings, but it's certainly not enough to hinder the awesome experience that I had with this game. And I hope that the deals...
It's a mixed bag of 9.5 out of 10. And this is for the fanboys. This is Phil just getting on his knees for the fanboys and being like, oh, you guys, don't be mad. I'm going to give this a 9.5. Clown World.
Cs that are planned for 2016 end up being just as good as the ones from the previous Fallout games, and you know, kind of stay in line with that Bethesda seal of greatness that we're used to. Please don't
Seal
let
of
it be like
greatness?
those DLCs for originally for Fallout 3. Anyone remember the ones that didn't even load on launch day? Please let them work. But a great game overall, 9.5 out of 10 from me.
A 9.5
That is it for the hate.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And then a wall of text that is centered to the middle. So good luck reading this. Terrible. And let's go and rate this. So now, how informative this video was. I'm willing to say a 2 out of 10. And I'm being generous here because I've played the game and he explained this game as if it's every other Fallout game ever, but a little bit bigger and having more content. Production value is straight up a 1 out of 10 because I can't go to 0. This is one of the laziest videos produced with a narration that is just a freestyle of a Phil from KOGaming. It had words on the screen that suck and it conceals the whole fucking gameplay, and the gameplay sucked. But we're gonna get to the gameplay. But the overall production value, that's just a 1. It's a terrible fucking review. Now, entertainment value, this review is completely worthless if you're looking for entertainment. You don't see any interesting gaming clips. There's no interesting comments that he makes. There's no jokes. There's nothing. It's just minimum effort. So I would say 1. It's literally not entertaining at all. Uniqueness or personality, there is none really. There is nothing that makes it special. It's just a guy explaining to you poorly what a game is. I'm gonna go for 2 on this one because I don't want to be the guy that gives everyone 1s. And the quality of the gameplay, that's terrible. That was just a straight up 1. So this is a 1.4, an average of 1.4 out of 10 for this review. Beautiful. Now I just want to check if the dude started. I think he's streaming today. He should be. Wait, hold on. This is the... It's not the pure one. This is the pure REEStream. Let's see if... oh yeah, it's... Okay, let's watch a little bit of pre-stream. Maybe he's gonna bitch about something. Maybe it's gonna be cringe. So let's just give it a
Play
shot.
them all at any kind of length.
And then we go back to KOGaming stuff.
Choose what games I'm playing, which is why I certainly can't play every single game coming out this week, but you know, the ones that I'm more interested in, I am checking out. Hello, Jasper Kitty. Oh, watch your tail. Watch the tail there, buddy. Don't get it caught on a walk.
Watch the tail, Jasper Kitty.
So, my friends, how are you doing? I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that you are ready for good stuff today. Good variety of stuff today. 2 game playthroughs essentially concluding today. If you're not aware, on the first stream today, Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Oh,
a playthrough that I very much enjoyed up to this point. Although it's not a long game, I would argue it's been pretty entertaining and pretty unique. We're roughly...
And I'm gonna Tevin this up, so I'm gonna talk while he's talking because he's not saying anything of value. I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit like this.
Focus of the game, and therefore it's taking me a little bit longer to wrap it up. I fully believe that I will wrap it up today. Because I'm in the final... Well, we went back to the main village. And in the main village, there's a few more side things to do before we head into the final area of the game. And apparently the final area is like a dungeon. You do the dungeon's work, and there's bosses, and the end of the game. So, likely beat it today, and I'm excited to see how it ends.
This was a nasty fucking
even though it does feel
snort.
like a lot of other games
Jesus
combined,
Christ.
it definitely has its own identity with the way that it handles certain things. So I'm excited for that for sure.
He's being on
the
his
main
phone
stream
right
here.
now, by the way.
Tonight,
This sounds like a guy who's on his phone right now.
For Microsoft Flight Simulator.
It's
game
a
that
send-off. Oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator is canceled because he doesn't make the big bucks anymore.
Getting an Xbox Series X donated this year really opened up my horizons of what I could do, you know, for my streams this year. And over the last 2 months, we've really...
that's straight up bullshit. Somebody giving him a toy makes his streams much better. He didn't do anything with the Game Pass stuff. It was worthless.
Dubai.
Right?
Mount Everest.
Wow.
Paris.
Wow. Blows my mind.
London. San Francisco. New York City. Chicago. Seattle. Toronto, right? Hong Kong. Singapore. That's just to name a few. We've been to so many places. I can't.
He's traveled all over the world.
Places that we've
He
been.
snorted all over the world.
And so tonight will be the final session for now. What I mean by that is this is not necessarily I'm never playing the game again. It's basically that.
Yeah, that's what it means. You just don't make.
I'm in
Oh
a
my god,
situation
this
here
fucking
where
snort.
we got so many crazy new releases coming out. I need as much time as possible to play these releases. I can't say, oh, we're gonna do a weekly stream of this chill game and this chill game. There's really no time for the chill. We've got to make progress in all the new releases in order to get through them. So I need those night streams, and you know, it was very nice doing the flight sim stuff over the course of the summer. But now the summer is over. Now it's time to focus on all major playthroughs, okay? So that's today's streams. I'm very excited. Chill day all day long, but a good day. And I hope that you guys will continue to join me and chill and enjoy.
Join
good
me
stuff,
and chill.
man. Good stuff.
Chill,
coming out.
Phil.
Let's talk about the rest of the week, okay? Because the rest of this week is going to be
this is the worst part. And today I was thinking, like, the pre-stream is the most watchable part of a DSP stream. As in, it's still terrible, but there is the slightest chance of a lot of begging or embarrassment or terrible takes. And the schedule segment is, Jesus Christ, the worst thing in life.
Answers and everything for them, okay? But
oh my god.
the show is typically 3 hours of answering your questions live here on the stream.
Hey, ask the
If you have
king.
not yet, it is your absolute last chance to post up questions for the show by typing !Ask the King into the stream chat. It'll bring up the link by which you can do so. If you are a channel member, thank you for joining and thank you for supporting the channel. You get priority access to post up questions for the show. There's a community post that's been live for about a week now on the front of this channel on YouTube. That's members only, where you can ask questions. And tomorrow I will be reviewing those questions for, you know, answering some of those on the show as well. Now, in addition to that,
This is bullshit because he would just end up answering chat questions in the end. So you might as well just subscribe to his channel for 24 hours and then you can ask him a question in chat after everybody else answered their question. That's been a massive issue with his Ask the King stuff for a long time.
avenues for you to ask your questions, I strongly recommend that you do, because the day of, there's rarely time in the stream chat to answer anyone's questions live. It's usually all about those who've asked ahead of time.
No, that's literally
Okay.
bullshit. That's literally nonsense. He stops like 30 minutes before the stream ends and asks chat for questions. It's nonsense. It's straight up
On
lies.
Friday, when it released, it was actually quite fun, although quite weird
Fun?
and quirky and unique. I'm not sure I've ever played a game like that before. So we will have 2 more hours of progress, likely mostly story progress, on Monday night's late night stream. Okay? Tuesday, it is the premiere of Alan Wake Remastered, and I have officially pre-purchased and preloaded it onto my Xbox Series X.
Pre-purchased.
If you're
Epic.
wondering why I'm playing it on the
He also bought the wrong version of the Monkey Ball game, and then he bought a different version before he even got his refund. And then he realized he could get a refund. So this dude bought 2 versions of the same game and didn't know there was a refund and then refunded it. A couple of days ago. He was begging then.
remember the Xbox sounds and stuff that happened during the playthrough. And so, I Can't wait for Tuesday. That's going to be cool. A nice suspenseful, spooky playthrough for the month of October. Now, Tuesday night, after Alan Wake,
Oh my god,
it's currently
every week.
up in the air.
All
We have
the
two
week.
options of
Entire
things that we
week.
can do. Okay? We can either do more Super Monkey Ball, so we'll do 2 straight nights, or excuse me,
Hey, mute your mic,
we can attempt
asshole.
to finish up Hades. And if you wonder what I mean by that, last night, if you guys missed the late night Hades stream, you missed what I would say arguably was the most exciting, suspenseful Hades stream I've ever done. I was basically using a build that was brand new to me and I didn't know much about, and I was trying to learn it on the fly. And man, the final run against Hades was insane. It was just like down to the wire, nailed.
Yeah, you're right, Assassin. He's always begging.
But at this
Massive
point,
snorts
I am very
tonight.
close to beating Hades. In order to complete Hades, you need to clear the game 10 times.
Oh
I've
my
cleared it
god.
8 times now.
Oh my
So
god,
only
so
2 more clears
exciting.
needed. All right. If I do a good build and I get lucky with RNG, I might even beat it the next time that I play it, and that would be good because then the game would be complete and we could just focus solely on the new stuff and not have to worry about.
I love the chair squeaks as well. It's very interactive to listen to. And that chair is basically new. It's like 2 months old or something.
Curious, would you guys like 2 nights of Super Monkey Ball, both Monday and Tuesday night? Or would you prefer if I do Super Monkey Ball one day and then maybe try to beat Hades on Tuesday night for variety's sake? So please give me your feedback on that. I'm all ears. I'm curious to hear what you guys want. Okay? Now, this week, I am off from streaming on Wednesday. Okay? I'm off. When I come back on Thursday, it is the premiere of Far Cry 6.
Yay.
Right? Now,
I would actually be interested to see what the initial reviews for that are gonna be, because I don't know, I think it's gonna be a mixed bag, but weighing towards the negative, I think. Think Far Cry 5.
both on PS5
Both?
and on Xbox Series X.
And?
I don't know what to get it on. I actually have the option to obviously to get it on either now. This is actually my first major game where I have this kind of an option, a conundrum. It's a new release. It's out on both consoles. It's cross-platform. It's not an exclusive from one studio or another.
Cross platform?
And I'm just kind of, I don't
doing?
know
What
what
is
to do.
this fucking
Should
looking
I
like? This is how a hungover guy sounds.
be the benefits of getting Far Cry 6 on one console or the other? All right. So if I get it on PlayStation 5, I'll get haptic feedback.
Wow.
And I'll get some.
That shit is nice. Depends on how it's implemented, but in most games it seems nice. Haven't tried it myself.
When you're aiming with certain weapons, I'm sure if there's a bow and arrow for hunting or whatever, you'll feel the tenseness in the triggers and stuff like that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Epic.
On the Xbox Series X,
Xbox.
basically the controller I feel is a lot more comfortable on the Xbox Series X. I really like the
Xbox?
lighter controller, and it has a more textured grip to it that allows it to feel more comfortable in the hand. I actually do like the thumbstick placement better on the Xbox Series X controller as well.
Dude, what is this? This is a sub-segment of a sub-segment. This is the segment of which platform should I play Far Cry 6 on, and then the actual segment is the schedule segment. So he's talking about one day of the week, and then derailed himself to talk about on what platform he's gonna play the game. Great content, values your time every day.
But not really.
Not really.
If I play it on the Xbox Series X, I will actually get true surround sound.
Bro, nothing is worth talking about it that much if you're gonna play it on this platform or this platform, unless it gives you a hand job or something. It really doesn't matter. Just go play it on fucking something. Stop whining. You're gonna play it on literally everything. DSP is gonna buy it on every platform available because it's DSP. It's the guy on your screen right now that you're seeing. Jesus Christ.
Xbox Series X, I get the surround sound. I like the controller better, but I won't get those other features. You know?
Nobody cares.
Is there really a benefit to one over the other?
Nobody cares. The audio probably not gonna be that good too. It's a Ubisoft game. It's a Far Cry game. What do you expect? It's gonna be pretty stable, standard affair.
Okay, I just
Oh,
don't. I'm
Jesus
not sure
Christ.
what the best option is here.
And I can't wait for his gaming necklace to arrive. His neck set. That's gonna be very exciting to look at. With with the glasses and the hat and the whatever else he puts, the vest, and then a neck set, like I don't know, like Chris Chan. DSP is getting closer to Chris Chan by the day.
Deal, right? You know, one of the other major factors will be hard drive space. Right now on PS5, I have almost nothing. I have the Street Fighter Collection and Kena Bridge of Spirits. After today, I'm done with Kena. So I literally have nothing on my PS5 right now, okay?
What do you mean? You were talking about the busiest gaming season in life, bro. You were just talking about it. Meanwhile, Kevin Bernstein spamming super chats. DSP doesn't care.
On there.
Because super chats are not really acknowledged on his stream.
A third of my storage space is full on there. I would assume if I add in like Far Cry and the Battlefield.
Yeah, Gunslinger Kai, good point. His streams don't have any special audio. It's just stereo. So it's just for him and what's gonna be better for him. Whether it's the haptic feedback or it's the 3D audio. That's kind of what he's asking.
I'm on the fence about it. I'm undecided. Okay? Completely undecided.
So this complete nonsense segment was for him to say he's undecided.
Warn all of you about tomorrow.
Oh, warning.
Because ladies and gentlemen, if you're
what you may see may be absolutely disgusting.
True.
I think that was the quote, but
away from the internet tomorrow. Okay? Do you want to know why? Because it is time for our favorite practice.
What?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It happens a few times a year.
You talked about it
but
already.
It's time for all of the special, selected, advanced copy game content creators and reviewers.
Oh, wonderful. Listen to this segment.
Content starting tomorrow. They'll be able to put out their playthroughs. They'll be able to stream the game fully.
Salty.
Especially to do this tomorrow.
Salt. All I taste is salt.
And here we are 3 days early. Execute. The entire internet will be full of the entirety of the game. No exaggeration. You will see full playthroughs of.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Literally, what's wrong with it? So people can know before the day they buy the game whether they should buy the game or not.
You could see.
Why not?
And lecture.
Because it's not Phil.
About this practice. You know my thoughts. You know I hate it. You know I think that this is not the 1990s where anyone needs to get the game early to review it, to get a print magazine out with a review.
Well, they get it because they're better than you and they're more professional and people care about them more. That's why.
Everyone should get the game on fucking release day. Now, if you pay for it or not is another matter, but everyone should get the game on release day. Everyone should be forced to wait until release day to.
No, not really. They're better than you.
Aid Shills giving you fake opinions. Because the truth of the matter is, tomorrow the review embargo lifts, and 95% of the
day one views
Far Cry 6 will be overwhelmingly abundantly positive. Why? Well, there's two reasons. One reason you can argue.
Just read the user reviews a couple of days later. What's wrong with that? If you're a mature adult, you could make your mind yourself. You can make your own opinion, DSP.
In the modern era, that's not always the case. In the modern era of content creation, there is an unspoken understanding between game publishers and content creators. The understanding is thus: we will give you early access to our game. You play it early. You hype it up for us.
What a trash fucking opinion.
Absolutely free publicity. You benefit because you're going to get to put out videos, reviews, and content days early. People will rush and flock to your content and make you thousands of dollars. On the flip side of that, you kiss our game's butt, and you'll know that in the future, we'll send you more games early to keep this cycle going.
Use your brain. Make your own opinion. Go and look at a bunch of people stuff.
Written paper contract for.
Make your own opinion, DSP. Stop reading Twitter.
The temptation to kiss a game's butt and only say overly positive things about it when you are going to benefit massively.
He's still salty about The Last of Us 2.
Too strong to trust a content creator to do the right thing. It's that simple. Excuse me. It's just too much of a crazy temptation to say this game is good and get paid extra because people flock to your content for 2-3 days before the game is out because they can't get it yet, so they watch other people play it. So you make...
Okay, can they make their own mind? Or they're mindless sheep? Like the guys watching you, right?
Early, I do the same thing. Oh shit, I made tons of money again. And it's just a vicious cycle. It's a vicious, endless fucking cycle. Sometimes these game publishers have the audacity to actually tell the content creators, you can't say anything negative about the game because of the review embargo, which is ridiculous. If you're playing a game, you can say what you're reacting to in the game. You're basically censoring the person, right? But they signed the contract to make the big money, okay?
Okay, make your own opinion. As a customer, watch those videos for free before the game even came out and make your own opinion. That's it.
From the internet.
As easy as this.
Because tomorrow, it is all you're going to hear about is Far Cry 6. Every review, early streams, early playthroughs, it's all going to be all over the goddamn internet. And they're all...
That's good.
Not a single person who got this game early is doing it because they feel it's the right thing to do or they're doing a public service. They are lying.
How do you know?
With money because they got the game early.
Self-proclaimed person who never watches anybody's content.
That you know, that's the...
Knows this.
It's hilarious because I go on social media this morning. It's the same
Twitter
fuckers who every new game, they do this. It's the same vicious cycle. Oh, big props to Ubi.
DSP, these people wouldn't come to your stream.
Can't wait to share all of my gameplay with you tomorrow, guys. Fuck you. You disingenuous sellout shill piece of shit.
Oh my god, a gold dust segment.
Garbage paid shill content because they're so fucking stupid they can't realize they're watching a paid advertisement. No, I don't want to follow you on Twitter. No, I don't want to watch your garbage. You fucking stupid actor. You're not even a fucking gamer.
Whoa.
You're a fucking paid
You're not even a gamer.
You're an embarrassment to the gaming franchise, the gaming community as a whole. And go fuck yourself.
Shout out to Sean Rankin.
Okay? Now, it's funny because people are saying he's mad. I'm actually not mad at all. Clown mode. What upsets me is that there's a vast majority of people out there who don't understand the difference.
Oh my God, he's
someone
drinking
who's
gin.
actually a content creator who cares about what they do and someone who is a paid...
You don't care about what you do. I've been watching your reviews for the last hour. You don't give a shit.
Opportunities, right? And the next thing you know...
I'm sorry for yelling.
Never mention that game ever again either.
That's stupid.
You know? You can tell that's their paycheck. And people are so...
The Mickey Mouse laugh.
That's really what irks me. It's not that this practice exists. It's that people are so dumb they fall for it. And that's why the practice exists. If everyone would just say, oh, look at all these dumb fuck paid shills who got the game earlier, gonna kiss its butt on Monday. Fuck them. I'm not going to watch any of their content. I'll wait.
DSP would do the same if he was giving the games. He's just salty he's not given the games.
Give their honest opinions on it. Then I'll pay attention. I'll ignore the paid shill nonsense. But people are stupid. They fall for this vicious cycle of marketing.
You bought 2 editions of the same game and didn't know you could refund. You literally fall for marketing schemes more than anybody else.
These people actually growing in popularity, and people now think that they're, oh, these are figureheads of gaming. These are people who we should trust. What are you, fucking stupid?
Make your own opinion, DSP.
Every fucking word. And you're so ignorant you can't understand that.
Think about your own opinion yourself. It's much easier for everybody.
Gamer like you guys, but I've been there. I was to the top of the mountain. I was being offered all of these opportunities. Will you play our game? Will you play it early? Will you advertise it? We'll pay you for it. We'll do this. We'll do that.
Of shit.
Hell, I still get offers from time to time for smaller indie games to
do
that shit.
Mr. I never get offers because of trolls?
I refuse. That's not
who
I
am. If it's not who I am. What a piece of shit.
Say what I feel about a game, then I'm not going to fucking play your game. And that's what it is. These are all bullshit. It's all the vicious fucking cycle of advertisement.
You have vicious cycle of begging.
Tomorrow, you will see the usual big-time content creators kissing the fuck out of the ass of Far Cry 6, only for the later in the week or next week to say, oh, it actually ain't that good, or, oh, I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm done with that.
Who says this? Who do you watch that says this? Who? Do you watch anybody? No. Then who do you know?
You know, I'm very sorry, guys, but it is...
Yeah, I'm very sorry. You're a lying sack of shit.
That's my opinion on it. You could disagree. Maybe I love the early act.
Your opinion is terrible, and I would tell you if I wasn't blocked on Twitter.
Elected content creators getting everything handed to them because they
morality
kiss ass
Phil.
because they're a bunch of fucking shills. I've never liked that practice. I never will. And it actually disgusts me that today I go on social media and like literally the same 20, 30 people. Oh, I can't wait to put out my content tomorrow.
Yeah, he just feels jealous. Jealousy, Phil. That's the feeling.
It's complete fucking disingenuous trash. You're lying to the public to make a fucking paycheck, and we all have to like accept it as something of quality. You're a fucking asshole.
Wow.
No one.
This is why I wanted to restream this pre-stream.
People are too fucking stupid.
People are just too stupid.
If you actually want to see honest feedback on Far Cry 6, I urge you to stay away from the internet tomorrow
And watch
and
me.
wait until Thursday when the game actually releases and watch people who actually are real
Oh, yeah.
gamers
Like
play
me.
the fucking game on stream or in their videos, and they will be honest with you. People who did not get the game early and didn't get paid to kiss its butt will tell you if it's really good or not. Okay?
Epic.
So, there you go. Hilarious is idiot. I'm just going to ban him because this guy's...
Zeta0 says, didn't he get Fallout 4 early and gave it a 9.5? Yeah, we watched this earlier in the stream. Apparently it was a mixed bag, weighing towards the positive, and it's a 9.5. So go figure.
honest. And let me tell you...
Also, his review got, according to my scale, he got a 1.4 out of 10 for his review. Link for that is in the description. You can go check out what it means.
the wrong thing, and now my sponsor is going to drop me because I don't have any sponsors. I have you guys who trust
I don't want the corporation's money. I don't want the money of the people who have a lot of it. I want your disability checks. That's what I want.
I am
Give me.
you.
I am
Okay?
you.
I am you. Execute. I am not them. I am not some paid.
I'm you, except I live in a gated community. I'm you, except I'm $500,000 in debt. I'm you, except I have to beg to exist.
So thank you for supporting.
Thank you.
Because if it weren't
Start
for you
begging
supporting this
already.
content, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to put out this content that's honest and transparent.
Yeah,
and truthful.
transparent
Okay?
Phil. Tell us what it says on the leaks. What does it say? How are you transparent? Give me some transparency. What does it say on the leaks? What is PayPal? What is pre-authorized transaction?
Next few days. Thursday night, I'm going to be trying out the
Oh, and
Battlefield
back to
2042
schedule.
beta, which supposedly I should be able to have access to on the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, go
because I
fuck
have EA
yourself.
Play, which is part of Game Pass Ultimate, which I have.
That makes me cringe.
If it is true,
Ugh.
it's available. I'm playing it on Thursday night. Okay. Now, another thing that I'm on the fence about, guys. This
Yeah, on
coming
the fence.
Friday.
He's been on the fence his entire fucking life.
Everyone, this is
That's why his ass hurts or something. That's why his butt hurt. I got it, you guys. I got all the jokes.
I like Metroid. I think Metroid Dread will be a good game. But there's two things holding me back right now from 100% pulling the trigger on this and saying this is a playthrough I'm absolutely doing starting on Friday. And here's the two factors that are part of this. Okay?
A literal
Number
bullshit.
one,
Yeah.
I'm already
We're gonna see, by the way, how since we're gonna go through these reviews, some of them. I don't want this stream to be massively long. We can have another one, a different day where I go through all the other stuff. Like Tevin, you guys, I'm gonna make it in parts. So we're gonna see, by the way, how much he loves doing what he does through his other videos. We'll see how much in detail he goes with his Hateful Truth series, you know. But let's just check this out. Maybe there's gonna be a little bit more gold dust.
have enough time to dedicate to yet
Oh, he doesn't have time,
another
okay.
playthrough. Okay? That's number one. Number two, all right? Every single time that I have tried to play a Metroidvania game for you guys, I've enjoyed it, and the viewing audience has said, this is boring, stop playing it.
Nobody cares if you enjoy games. You play games online for other people to enjoy. And enjoying games is a massive plus, but it's not about Phil. Of course, it's cooler if you like the game, but if there's a game that a lot of people like and you're not a big fan, you should probably play it just for them, because they support you. They make you who you are. The guy in the gated community who jerked off on camera.
And tried to
That's the people's fault.
Metroidvania game, and at the end of the day, after I play it 1 or 2 streams, everyone tells me this is boring, and people stop attending and stop supporting, and essentially,
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
it's
of the
boring.
times I end up just dropping the playthrough because
Yeah.
people want to see everything else but the Metroidvania game.
Dude, it's not about the games. Nobody cares. You could have been playing tic-tac-toe, and there are people that show up. Critical plays chess. There's so many people that play chess on Twitch, and it's not a mega interesting game, but they're interesting people. I don't know. I'm sorry, chess fans. I just don't play chess. I don't. Yeah, it's still a very cool game, obviously.
Alan Wake Remastered starts this Tuesday.
Dude, you talked about this already. Come on, skip this shit.
With other stuff, it's a cool, spooky atmosphere style game for the month of October. That's going to be going for a couple of weeks for sure. Okay, Far Cry 6. We all know the Far Cry games are quite lengthy, and you know that's another one that people want me to play. So I'm definitely doing it starting on Thursday. Monkey Ball I'm already playing. That's going to be more of a night stream game. Hades, I'm already playing. I got to wrap that up within the next week or so. And like I said, Lost Judgment likely is going to end up being night streams rather than daytime streams at this point. Okay? The way I see it is I don't see how I could wedge in Metroid Dread. And now I'm juggling. Just think about this. Now the daytime streams, I'm juggling Far Cry, Alan Wake,
He's
Metroid
juggling,
Dread
you guys.
between the daytime.
He's a literal fucking clown. He's juggling. He's juggling video games. What a fucking joke. And he has to have this specific segment to explain to you how hard his lifestyle is. Wondering, oh my god, what game I'm gonna play. Well, if you were worth something as an entertainer, you could play any game. Literally. There are people that play only Warzone. There are people that play only Fortnite. There are people that play only FIFA. If you're a cool guy to chill with. But Phil has to rely on the games and the wheelchairs.
To play a new Metroid game, right? In the classic style, a new Metroid game, right? I'm just thinking that maybe this is a bad time for it. That maybe what I should do is hold off on Metroid for now and wait for an opening in the game schedule.
An opening.
Which likely,
This dude is like he's playing fucking basketball. He has to wait for an opening in the defense to slash towards the rim.
At the end of the
What
month,
a
there's 2 or
genius.
3 new games. And then in November, it's not as dense.
Shut up and play games. This is why you don't have time to play games, because you waste time. How long has it been since this trash started? Like 30 minutes of wasted time and meandering and ranting about other people who are doing better than him. Salty 65-year-old.
Battlefield's the 3rd week, along with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Now, I think there's more than that, but I haven't updated my calendar yet. But it definitely looks to me like things will slow down in November, and at the very, very least, in December, it will be like dead. December, there's almost nothing besides Halo. It's pretty much a dead game.
Should play Minecraft instead. Once again.
Okay.
What happened to Papa Vera? It was one of the regulars, if you don't know the lore. He made an entire forum guide of how DSP should play the game. Literally, the dude spent hours to write down this stuff, so DSP could look at it and slightly follow it.
Dungeons, labyrinthian,
Yeah,
areas,
nobody cares.
fighting
DSP, come on.
enemies. They're going to be chased by these
Yikes.
monsters now that you need to freeze with special weapons. We saw the previews. We know what it is. It's Metroid with a nemesis element to it. That's it. There's no giant story spoilers or anything here that's going to screw stuff up. You know what I'm saying? So, holding off on Metroid, I don't think is a big deal. And it's
Still
hilarious.
talking about Metroid for like 10 minutes now.
You're going to miss out on the hype. The hype?
The hype?
The hype for a Metroidvania game. Did you not understand what I just said?
Then why are you playing the game? Play Fortnite.
I have played a Metroidvania game in the...
Play FIFA 22. Or FIFA 17. It's basically the same thing.
People have told me they're not exciting and they're boring and stop playing them. Every single time. There is no hype for Metroid Dread on my streams because my audience doesn't really look for that stuff. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm definitely not...
They don't play the game. If they don't want it, you don't care, don't play it. Don't spend the money. Case closed.
And so, playing a game like Metroid Dread could work if it's something that's balanced with a lot of other stuff. Playing it once a week because there's so many other games coming out that people would rather see is not going to work. You see? So, that's basically my opinion at this point. I'm basically thinking Metroid Dread is... I still want to play it. I don't want to not play it. But I don't see how I can play it right now.
What is this lashing out? Who is he lashing out on? Is this schizophrenia segment?
For example, Alan Wake Remaster. I'm playing that this month because it's October. It's the perfect time for that kind of a creepy suspense.
This man he's having meltdowns like almost every fucking day at this point. He's out of his fucking mind. And he's 40. Imagine in 10 years. I can't wait. I'll have hit 1,000 subs by then. 100%.
And we'll get more mainstream attention than Metroid because I know Metroidvania games.
Still
don't
talking about
get
Metroid,
followed on
man.
Streams. Okay. Okay. So.
Okay.
That's the deal. I think like I'm probably
Start
gonna
begging.
hold off on playing Metroid. What I will probably do is over the weekend I will alternate my major streams between Alan Wake and Far Cry over the course of that weekend. And then the night streams will be Street Fighter, the conclusion of Hades if I haven't beaten it yet, Super Monkey Ball, and Lost Judgment. Okay? And so we'll focus on all of that over the course of the weekend, heading into next week. and then next week is Back for Blood, and then we have a horror-themed game, another
Gunslinger Kai in chat says he's not going to be alive in 10 years. Well, I don't know if this is an optimistic approach, to be honest, because I don't know how a 65 or 60-year-old DSP or 50-year-old DSP is going to exist, because he barely exists right now. I think for him, literally kicking the bucket is going to be the more graceful thing to do than just continue living. Then it's just going to be all downhill. And it's been all downhill for some time, but then it's going to be like rolling down the hill, not even walking.
Too many new releases in a short period of time. So all the stuff that I really wanted to do and I didn't get to do will all be going on in December. Okay?
Okay, checking his phone. Whale call. Checking PayPal. Checking Champions.
All right. That's my take.
All right,
You
that's
really
his take.
disagree. Hey, you disagree, let me know. Let me know.
So you
But
can
that's
block
the
him?
vibe I'm getting, and that's what I'm thinking.
So you
is
can restrict your replies?
before
Maybe I should quote retweet him and say he's a loser.
at once, people completely and utterly lose interest. And then there's no progress made. And by the way, just later on this month, you got the new Dark Pictures anthology game, you got Guardians of the Galaxy, and more stuff. You know, there's more stuff coming. So I have to get through some games before then. I can't just only play a game for 5 hours and then now I'm playing 10 more new games, you know? So, okay.
Okay. Sound good?
Here's the funny thing. So here's Zen
What's the
Shuriken.
funny thing,
He
DSP?
says, you missed out on Guilty Gear hype, you missed out on Metroid, and now you're missing
Oh, he gets the mocking voice.
I'm only one person.
Big ups.
Okay, guys, listen. I listen up. I understand.
Oh no.
I understand.
Horror
I
show.
I think the Nicktoons game would be good, probably for a couple streams, and then it would die out. It would be fun as a gimmick thing for a couple of streams, right?
Why is his hairline so weird?
People would have been excited to see me play Guilty Gear Strive for a bit.
I'm not even gonna talk about the goatee. That shit is way past. Should be having a
Would
funeral
have liked it
for
for a
it.
couple streams, right? Metroid, yeah, there's hype around Metroid for its new release on Friday. I get all that. I get it. But I'm one person. I'm not a team of
You're
people.
barely a person,
I'm not,
DSP.
you know, someone who
DSP barely exists if we got a real talk.
type of content that I put out. I do actual playthroughs of games, meaningful playthroughs of games,
Doubt.
opinion on the game as I go through them. I'm not a guy who every stream I
Hmm.
play something for once and I drop it, right? By the way, I can't even afford to do that. I just
Oh,
can't.
yeah,
I'm
you
not
can't afford
financially in a
to.
position where I can buy 10
Oh.
games in 1 week and then decide I'm only going to play 2 of them at length. I just can't do that. All right? So I hope you understand that. You know, I'm one man. And what really sucks about this is that they've decided to put so many games in a short window. This month, no lie, if you look at the actual release schedule, there's like 30 games that came out coming out in October.
That makes me cringe.
This is what happens every year.
Ugh.
This is the fault of the people who think that they're going to get these artificial holiday sales if we all group our games together in the shortest window. No. Want to know what happens? The games cannibalize each other. There's no
what?
way.
Now it's the games cannibalizing each other? Where are we going with this? Stop it, DSP.
You don't have the time to play them all. We have lives and we have
Somebody come to his house and restrain him. He can't stop himself.
games in October.
He's
But they don't
unleashed.
get that. They all think my game's the best, so
Oh
I
my
don't care about what
God.
everyone else does. Get those artificial sales for Christmas. It doesn't work. It's a very outdated formula from very outdated marketing teams and outdated management teams of these publishers.
You're the most outdated person on the internet, DSP. The most.
And they're going to sell less because they're all cannibalizing each other within the same few weeks.
Cannibalizing each
But
other. They're eating each other's ass.
learn. For some reason, the gaming industry doesn't.
Making DSP level jokes now.
So please understand, I am totally in line with someone like Zen Shuriken saying, I mean, he missed this, he missed this, he missed this. These all would have been great playthroughs. I agree. But I'm only one guy. I can't possibly play all these games. What I have to do is pick and choose the games that I feel are going to fit my content better, or games that are easily...
Yeah, you don't have to even explain this. Just play games. That's all that it's about. Just fucking play the game.
on Game Pass. If I drop it after a stream or two, fine. But it's on Game Pass. I'm definitely going to check it out. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that all have to come into consideration. And I think this year's a unique year too, because this is the year when now both PS5 and Xbox Series X are out fully. And now we're getting these slew of games in here and people just want to see everything. And I get you. I know you want to see it all. I want to play it all. I can't do it all right now. What I can tell you is I
Turn the camera off.
promise you that if there's a game that
Manatee says in chat, I agree, but I'm also gonna mock him with the voice. Yeah, I agree with you too.
I don't feel makes sense at launch. I could play it later. I feel like Metroid Dread is one of those games. I think it's going to be a great game. It's
10-15 minute Metroid segment. Metroid. I didn't even know this game still exists.
gameplay, but I don't see how I can play it with these other games. I just can't. I don't know how it's going to work.
Oh no. First world
This game,
crisis.
you know, again, if this came out 2 months ago, perfect timing for the summer. If this came out in December, perfect timing. But let's release it the heaviest release month of the year just to try to capitalize on that fucking sales, you know, boost. It doesn't make sense. So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I want to put out the best content for you. I can't do everything. I'm one man. I wish that I could rip my ear off and my ear would regrow.
What?
A clone of Phil.
No, please don't have clones of Phil. This is the last thing we need in life, is a clone of DSP. They would cannibalize each other.
Phil channel on Twitch where he streams, right? And we split the content. Now you have double the DSP content. That'd be amazing, right?
No. You'd make double the revenue and beg twice as much. This is the best fucking content in life.
The gaming season ended, I'd have to kill the clone to make sure that there's only one Phil on this planet, the superior one.
Who's gonna know who's the real Phil in the end? Because it's gonna be a clone.
Do everything I can't.
It could be like in that Alien movie.
To the hype and play every game. I just can't do it.
Oh my god.
Okay.
They're gonna spend twice as much money on microtransactions, you guys. It's not gonna be 1651, it's gonna be 33 something. I can't fucking count right now.
Send off stream for Microsoft Flight
The
Simulator.
send-off
It may
stream.
return in the future. Tomorrow is Ask the King, my bi-monthly Q&A show, and some more Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Tuesday is the
Super Monkey
premiere
Ball.
of
Super Monkey Ball, by the way, that half of the video was clown mode and ass jokes. Because, you know, DSP loves his ass jokes. Holy shit.
and that's going to be paired with the Battlefield 2042 beta. The stream on...
Dude, that's a great idea. Gunslinger Kai in chat says, with a group of cloned Phils, they could do an a cappella barbershop quartet of snorts, acts, and so on. That's the best fucking thing. I would love for him to beg as a choir and have like harmonies of begging. Like be like, please tip me, and other people behind him doing it in other keys and stuff. That would be wonderful. I should make an edit of this or some shit.
I hope that sounds good to you. I hope that sounds good to you.
Oh
I
yeah,
hope that you
sounds good,
guys will
Phil.
join in
Start
for
begging
all of
now.
this stuff.
When is
I'm
the beg
sorry
segment?
that I can't play everything. Okay, I am. I'm sorry I can't play everything.
Phil, you can't play everything. How dare you not be able to play everything? That's not the argument. Nobody's saying you should play everything. You just shut up and start playing games. You're wasting your time playing games to talk about how you don't have time to play games. This is 1 million pig IQ.
For games for the Halloween event will remain open for roughly the rest of this week. And then next weekend, I will probably close those off. I will look at the results. And based on the games that you've nominated, I will create polls for you guys to start voting on.
Yo, what happened with this stream? Oh, an error occurred. Wow. Did Susan take him down? Did my browser take him down? Oh yeah, it was just Microsoft Edge, the best browser of 1973.
On to nominate games. Based off of that, I will create a poll
some
and you'll
games,
be able
you
to vote
guys.
exclusively on a game that will get into the final.
Tomorrow, by the way, might restream the Ask the King. I've already made the thumbnail and everything for that. So yeah, it's probably gonna be chill. I usually like Ask the King. It's a very chill and interactive event with a bunch of stupid fucking questions.
For the Halloween costume that I'm going to wear during the event.
Also, I would like to have mods in my chat, so hit me up on Twitter if you're interested in being a mod. Because as we can see in today as well, we're getting quite a few people, so that would be cool to have mods.
And then when I come back later this week, then I will have an idea of the costumes that are available around here, and then I will be allowing you to vote on a category of costume for which I will dress up on Halloween. By the way, we should bring up that the Halloween marathon is going to be exciting. Not only is it a marathon of games, and me dressed up in costume, but there's also going to be a live episode of Feasting with the King, which we have not done now in 2 months.
Very nice.
Right? It was actually, what, early August, the last time I did one? So I'm very...
Also, let me know in chat, which is your least favorite DSP Halloween costume? I gotta say mine is Bob Ross, because it was boring. And my most favorite was Yoshi, because it was green. So you could chroma key it and put whatever you want on it. I think that shit was lit. He also looks super uncomfortable with it.
Excited now. Okay. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I think I've covered almost everything. Quick reminder, guys, since we are in October, all new stuff. We've got Halloween decorations, as you've seen behind me, and these are going to be here for the majority of the month. They're going to be here till the end. They'll go away after Halloween, obviously.
Yeah, this looks terrible. He put zero effort into making it. It's just like one line of Christmas decorations and some trash. It's literally, there is no vibe to it or anything. Especially with this terrible camera. Looks like he's about to, I don't know, do something extreme on camera.
The fact that we're going to actually have some Halloween-themed stuff with Alan Wake Remastered.
Dude,
Back
why is
from
the camera
Blood, Dark Pictures Anthology.
You're ugly. Go away.
House of Ashes. Some cool horror-themed stuff this month, which is great.
Dante doesn't like the Colonel for KFC. You don't like him, boy? You don't like the Colonel, boy? Slave owner Phil. Oh no, come on.
Is that I, myself,
Come here,
do not have
boy.
sponsorships, partnerships. I don't
Oh, beg,
answer
beg, beg.
anyone.
Nice, nice,
I'm
nice.
an independent and individual. And because of that, I can be honest with you guys on my content and in my stream. I can tell you exactly what I feel about every game I play, because I don't have to worry about losing a sponsorship or being told I said the wrong thing, because I have the freedom to be honest with you.
He literally gets no sponsorships. That's why he cries. It's not that he wants to be the honest guy. Come on.
You guys have supported it. I appreciate that. The only reason
The Assassin's Creed outfit was also terrible. It really was. But it was an outfit that he'd bought and looked kind of expensive, let's say.
of this time,
Everything else is like bargain bin stuff.
if I didn't have you guys crowd
Zero creativity too.
style of content, I wouldn't be able to put out this style of content. Okay? So thank you in advance.
begging
to
style of
anyone
content.
who not only watches the content, but steps up and goes above and beyond being just a stream viewer and actually supports it in one of the ways that I'm about to outline. The first way you can support my streams is by becoming a channel member.
Now I'm going to tell you the way that you can support my streams is by dropping a thumbs up on the video on this stream right now. You can do that anytime you want. And you can write a comment after the stream is up. That helps with the algorithm. And that's it. You can sub, which is free. And you can go follow me on Twitch for the inevitable gaming videos when I get my gear back together. And that's going to be cool. And that's how you can subscribe. It's all free. When we get the memberships, then it's going to be spicier, but it's going to be cheap as fuck. And you're going to get emotes and stuff.
To anyone who's become a member, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now, also, in regards to other ways you can contribute via YouTube, there's something called a super chat or a super sticker. This is done through YouTube itself. This is a way that highlights your message if you attach some kind of a contribution to said message. Okay, so you get a highlighting in the stream chat. Now, I appreciate all memberships, super chats, and super stickers. These are ways to support the channel in the long term, and they indeed they do. In fact, I can tell you guys, the month of September, now that it's over and all the results have been tallied up, by far my best streaming month on YouTube. I saw a sharp increase in support with both memberships, super chats, and super stickers.
Stop troll tipping DSP and stop troll super chatting DSP. Because that shit doesn't work. And gives them too much money. Come on, don't do that. I can't tell you what you're going to do with your money, but don't do that. Do anything else. Get a stripper or something. I don't know. Anything else works.
Who contributed in that regard. Okay? Thank you, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now, these things help me in the long term. If you do a membership, a super chat, or a super sticker, I will get some support from that later on, probably next month at this point. Okay? But the best way to support the streams in the short term
tipping
is to tip me. And here's why. If you send a tip to me, two things happen. Number one, I get those funds immediately. I don't have to wait a month to a month and a half to get anything from a tip. I get it right now. That means I can use it to buy a new game this coming week, to pay a bill, to pay my tax.
Also, as you can see in the bottom, it says tip goal is 0 out of 50 because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, maybe you didn't hear or something. Now he has a 3-tier tips goal, so it's 50, 100, and 150.
There is less of a cut taken out of a tip than any other method of contribution. All right? So if you tip me, I'm getting more of what you're sending me than any other kind of contribution. By the way, not that I'm saying I don't appreciate those other methods. They all help, but tips in the short term are the best way to contribute. Okay? Now, since Tips are so
What
immensely
is
helpful.
the best way to beg?
Reward
I
tiers
don't know.
set up as a way of saying thanks for when we actually hit a certain level of support. For example, if we raise $50 in tips on today's stream, that's the tier 1 reward goal, and I'll put on a pair of Gunner glasses. All right? If we raise $100 in tips on today's stream, that's the tier 2 rewards goal. I'll put on a hat of your choice. Now, even though I am playing Kina today with the headphones on, if we do hit the $100 tips goal, I'll take them off, and you guys can vote on a hat, and I'll wear whatever hat you want, including the camo, the digital, the fake hair hat, or, yes, the military-style pilot's cap as well. I'll wear any of those hats.
Pilot's cap, by the way. Pilot for the SS.
We happen to raise the full tips goal
Elite pilot.
of $150. You guys get to pick a vest of your choice. Now,
Wow.
yesterday, I actually hit the tips goal, so therefore, today's stream, these following vests will be eligible, okay?
Oh my
The
god.
beige, the denim, the camo, and the gold. This way, we keep the stuff fresh. It's not always the same vest on every stream, all right? But you'll get to pick that between those if we hit the full tips goal of $150, all right? Thank you guys in advance again for any contributions. They're not mandatory. I consider it going.
Okay, stop begging already so I can go to the fucking hateful truth stuff. Come on, DSP. We're supposed to collaborate here.
If you like the
It's
content.
a co-op thing. It's a co-op stream.
Now it is time for shoutouts. So let's do it.
Oh, shoutouts. Okay. So we don't care about this. If there's any gold dust, we're gonna check it out later in the form of some a clips channel. So screw this. Let's go back to the actual reason why this stream exists. Now let's recap what we went through already. We went through his review of Fallout 4. Now it got a 1.4 out of 10. According to my science. You can go check it out in the description of this video. There's all the links. And now we're gonna go to another high hype release. Now, it's not gonna be Naruto or stuff like that. Let's go. I think Far Cry Primal. No, that wasn't all that hype. If there's a different one, Quantum Break. That one is kind of a Quantum Broken, more like. One hell of a reboot, Doom. So that is a mixed bag. It's a 9.5 out of 9.6. A buggy, boring, unfinished ripoff. No Man's Sky. Now this review hasn't aged well at all. Let me see some other stuff, or if not, we can go ahead and see the other thing. But who knows? I want to see some of the more recent ones because I want to give him the proper benefit of the doubt, you know, maybe the first video is not the best one, you know. Hateful Truth. Oh, this is straight up no editing. It's just
What is up, everyone?
Oh my
Phil
God.
here, and welcome to my review
Dude,
for the
shut up.
latest release from
this video, he literally did not do any editing. This was desperation DSP when he didn't give a fuck about anything. So no editing is allowed, no gameplay, not even massive words on the screen. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And he's not gonna like the game because it wasn't a great game. But let's go actually, without further ado, to his most hype release of all time. The video that made him the big bucks. The video that he watched in the retrospective and he was so proud of. The Homefront The Revolution review. Now let's see, it should be the first one. Yes, the worst game I've ever played. Homefront The Revolution. Now, is this gonna be a video worthy of the worst game you've ever played? Let's dive in and check out. Chat is chat. Yeah. Thank you guys for posting in chat. Now we're going into this segment. Worst game I've ever played. Homefront The Revolution, PS4.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Darkside Phil. I've been on YouTube for the greater part of 8 years, covering pretty much every major release that I could, ranging from console.
Now this is actually the first content I ever saw from DSP. The actual content from DSP that I've seen, this is the first one. This is his most hyped video. It's got over 1 million views. And of course, when you see a ratio like this about a negative review of a game, that's a red flag. And now when I watched this review, I was like, yeah, this guy is a little bit just too bitter and toxic. Because, yeah, the criticism is there. He talked shit about the game, but it was more of a malicious sense and not of an informative sense to tell you just don't buy this game. It was just malicious towards the developers, and you know that this game is a game that went through a lot of development troubles, so you can, you know, you can kind of figure out it's not going to be great in the end. But the worst game ever? Come on, give me a break. I have it on the PS4. It's not terrible, but it's not good. It's not a good game. I'm not going to say it's a good game just because DSP hates
games that are huge AAA releases to small indie titles, the occasional PC release here and there, hell, even some handheld games. And in all the time
there was absolutely no relation between the gameplay clips that he showed as well. It was just slapped on.
Made videos. Over 50,000 videos for YouTube.
How he flexes with the amount of videos that are all the same quality, that is below average quality. Very nice.
Today, unfortunately, is the very first day that I have to tell you I have played the worst game I have ever played in my life. And I just want to let you know, I don't take that statement lightly. I really pride myself on giving you honest feedback, commentary, and reviews regarding the games that I play on YouTube, because I like to think that my videos are a service to
sucking his own dick, by the way.
People who are going to watch them, see if they like the game that I'm playing.
But the gameplay is trash. It's not informative enough.
And then go out and buy it for themselves. Or
look at this. It's just him sitting in one place looking around.
Subsequently,
how am I supposed to judge if I'm going to buy the game through this?
Skip the game if it's something that's not their cup of tea. Today we're going to be talking about Homefront: The Revolution.
Wow.
A game that was stuck in development hell for 5 years, a game that was supposed to be the sequel to a 2011 release for a game studio that no longer exists. Let's get started.
This, again, the footage you're looking at is just a clip of his playthrough, because you can see it looks like shit.
Way back in 2011, a little game called Homefront was released. Now, admittedly, this game was not even a blip on many people's radar. I had the chance to actually check it out and found it surprisingly different from your standard first-person shooter, at least when it came to a few aspects of the story. The story featured a what-if scenario. What if America had been purchasing technology from North Korea for years? What if America had become completely dependent upon technology from North Korea, including not just electronics, but also military grades, such as helicopters, tanks, and weapons? And what if North Korea and the United States had a falling out, and there was a back door into all of that technology, which would completely lower all of America's defenses, leading...
Dave can't be a curator on Steam because he wouldn't write stuff. He's really shit at writing stuff. If you've seen his forum posts on his own forum, it's terrible read. Basically like a 6-year-old wrote it.
Invasion of the West Coast by North Korean military forces. What a premise, and what a weird way to start.
Yeah, the premise was nice. I played this game too when it came out. It's okay. It's a pretty nice shooter for the time that it came out.
First-person shooter. I remember watching the intro cutscenes of this game and gasping at some of the really gruesome things that happened, and it really just ended up being pretty unique. Now, overall, the gameplay of the game wasn't anything to really write home about. It was kind of just run and gun fare, comparable to Call of Duty, but at least the story gave this game
the elite gameplay, by the way. Walking around with no cover, not sprinting to cover, not nothing, just walking around, aiming down sights. The elite DSP. He was probably drunk back then, to be honest.
A unique identity. And so, at that time, publisher THQ decided that they wanted to make a sequel. Unfortunately, THQ ended up declaring bankruptcy and subsequently going out of business, selling off all of its game franchises to the highest bidder. Homefront ended up being bought by Crytek, the same company that made Crysis, and then subsequently fell to a game developer named Deep Silver, who then contracted a new game studio to actually make this newer installment called Homefront: The Revolution. So it's been 5 long years that we've been waiting for this game to come out, and
yeah, it's almost like some projects go through development issues when the studio changes and stuff, and in the end the product that comes out is not very good.
Everyone's been wondering, what is it going to be? Is it going to be similar? Is it going to be different? We kept hearing rumblings from the game studio and from Deep Silver that the game got delayed twice. First originally supposed to be released in 2015, then being pushed to early 2016, and then finally being delayed until today, May 17th, 2016. And finally we were able to get our hands on it.
Wait, he recorded this video the day the game released because he played a couple of hours and decided this is the worst game I've played and made this video. This is how much he cares. He didn't play through the entire game, he played a little bit. What if you watch his streams for a couple of hours and you're like, yeah, this is the worst streamer ever? He's gonna shit his pants. He's gonna be pissed. He's gonna make segments about it on his pre-streams. Terrible, terrible.
The wait was not worth it. This game is one of the most uninspired, tired, repetitive, boring, unfun,
Is he talking about his own content?
buggy. I could keep going on and on with the adjectives all day long. First of all, before I even start, I want to let you know I played the game on PlayStation 4, and I've actually heard that the people who
Yeah, performance is not great. Even after patches and stuff. He did play the day one version, but performance not great.
reviewed this game all got PC codes for it, and apparently the game doesn't have as many graphical issues as it does on the PlayStation 4. I'm just reviewing the copy that I purchased for a full $60 retail price.
Yeah, and this game shouldn't cost $60. Like, it just shouldn't.
I just want to make that clear up front. This is a full-fledged release that costs the price of a full game. From the get-go, you can tell that this game is insanely poorly optimized. A low frame rate even in the opening cutscenes, choppiness. And you have to ask yourself, did anyone actually test this game on consoles and say that it was passable? Because even a basic game tester who's playing this game and running through the city and trying to do action sequences could tell you a sub 20 frames per second game is not going to fly in 2016, especially with such awesome recent releases like Uncharted 4 and Doom, both running at a full 60 frames.
It's almost like Uncharted and Doom were successful projects by studios who had a lot of budget, and the games didn't transfer through different studios or different publishers. It's a massive issue that they had developing this game, having to switch development companies and having to switch publishers and probably switch the creative direction of the game. But that doesn't matter for DSP. It's the worst game ever because it had issues in development. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the game. The game is shit and shouldn't cost $60 at launch. That's kind of how it is. I think pretty objectively, let's say, but still.
Frames per second with insanely detailed 1080p visuals. How on earth you think you could sell a game like this on the same exact console as those high-performing games and let it fly? I have no fucking clue. It's an atrocity, a ripoff, and the only thing I can tell you is that the game developers were lazy as fucking shit.
Yeah, they were lazy.
But it's not just the frame rate that's the problem with Homefront.
Your game being taken away from your studio and given to somebody else, along with all the source code and all the systems for stuff, and you doing a bad job, that is lazy, obviously. But yeah, come on.
Revolution. Just walking into the very first area of the game, you can
This is actually pretty funny. This shouldn't be happening. What's on screen
immediately
right now.
see the laziness of this game dev team.
Laziness.
I
of the
immediately
devs.
noticed two
Laziness, by the way, by the guy who can't do anything by himself, can't do his stream layout by himself, can't edit videos, who can't do anything, can't pay for anything for his streams, can't implement anything new, can't research stuff or potential business improvements, nothing. And also, good comment by David Zerpa in chat. He says he's rocking in an edited video, and yeah, that's kind of how the previous video that we saw, which is his latest review, the one for Agents of Mayhem when it was just him on the couch. This is how he records every review. Like, he just sits there and it's like this, and it's just freestyle off the dome. There's no writing or anything.
identical NPCs standing right the fuck next to each other. You couldn't even put them at opposite ends of the first area. No, let's put them right next to each other as if to laugh at the purchaser of this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't do it to laugh at you, DSP.
And say,
but people don't need to do this to laugh at DSP. People laugh at DSP just kind of habitually at this point.
fuck you, we've got your money,
Fuck
bitch.
you.
We don't care that we didn't put any attention into the fucking development.
This is what developers say, by the way. Actual software developers like, fuck you, I got your money anyway.
And you'll actually
Fair
notice over the course of the game that most of the NPCs of those who are in the revolution, the rebel faction fighting against the North Korean invaders, are almost all the same characters repeated over and over.
It's almost like they didn't have money to make new models. It's almost like these projects take a lot of effort and a lot of collaboration and don't always work out.
And over. It's a joke, it's disgusting, it's incredibly lazy that they couldn't even be bothered to make more than a dozen characters for this game. What the fuck? The gameplay of...
Also, I think it's a big issue with this game being open world or semi-open world or open world-ish. Yeah, I think if you scaled down a little bit, maybe they could have made it work.
Homefront the Revolution is similar to those kind of first-person platforming action run-and-gun shooter games of previous years. Think Far Cry, or maybe last year's Dying Light sans the zombies, and you'll probably get the idea. You're in a open world per se. You'll be limited to certain areas of this open world city until you progress the story, but as you climb through this world, you'll be platforming around all the different city scaffolding and through the streets. You're going to be trying to avoid North Korean soldiers that are patrolling and will obviously identify you and shoot you on sight, especially the more missions that you end up doing for the resistance. And pretty much that's the goal. Do little things throughout the city, completing story missions, completing some optional side missions such as, oh, sabotage this, or save this random citizen on the street that's being harassed
Yeah, they're kind of generic and repetitive missions.
by a soldier in order to earn money and upgrade points so that you can get new weapons, new abilities, and new customizations for your guns. The one thing that they tried to do original in Homefront the Revolution was a gun customization system by which you can modify a weapon that you've bought and turn it into a completely different kind of thing dependent on the situation. For example, I had a battle rifle which was basically a standard assault rifle, but I modified it to actually shoot.
This is, by the way, gameplay from, I think, towards the beginning of the actual game. So you don't even see the late game weapons and what is fun and what is cool to see like later on.
Little firecracker rockets that could knock enemies down and kill them instantly. Or I also had a mod that could make it a sniper rifle, so it gives you some versatility. The problem being...
it takes a long time to switch between them though, that's kind of a downside, but it's a pretty cool idea, transforming guns.
The entire mechanic falls flat on its face when you realize it's almost impossible to aim and shoot anything in this game because the frame rate is so fucking choppy. By the
Yeah, I thought the gunplay was terrible too. It was pretty hard to aim and shoot stuff.
time that you look down the sights, the enemies are already moving all over the screen, and you can't even get a beat on them. So I ended up having to use the rocket launcher capability of this rifle because I couldn't hit anything with anything else. In addition, it actually takes a while to switch between the weapon mods because of the clunky interface. You have to first press up on the D-pad, then hold R1, then use your left thumbstick to select which variation of the gun that you actually want, then wait about 5 seconds while an enemy...
Now this could have been a good review. If I can be honest with you guys, this could have been a good review if he sat down and wrote all his criticisms and structured it in a way where he doesn't seem malicious or like an asshole. Because he comes across as an asshole, calling people lazy, actual software developers as lazy. And games are some of the hardest software you can make. It's fucking hard to do. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of experience to make even the basic indie game.
Animation completes to switch the gun, so any anticipation of trying to do an on-the-fly adjustment between the weapon mods is completely worthless, and you'll be dead before you actually get between the mods themselves. It's a waste of a mechanic. It's something that could have been interesting if implemented properly, but the one original thing that they do with the game falls flat on its fucking face. And so, ultimately with these open world first person shooter games, the question begs itself, gee, I wonder how long it's gonna take until you get to repetitive fetch quests and missions that are mandatory for you.
Almost immediately, by the way. 10 minutes into the game. Into the actual open world, you get the repetitive stuff. In the certain way that games introduce you to the repetitive content by making you do it once and then they unlock it all over the place, like all over the entire map. Yeah, again, it's not a good game, but it could have been a good review. And Oathkeeper says in chat, I feel a good balance of a review is talk of the game without saying too many spoilers. Or if you want to get into spoilers about the story, you could make a I'm going to be talking about Angry Joe because I see Angry Joe as the closest kind of relative to DSP because they've all started at the same time. You would make a separate video, or you would say explicitly, now it's going to be spoilers, skip to this part in the video. That works perfectly.
For you to progress the game. At first they're not, and you don't have to do them unless you're looking to get upgrade points or to get your weapons modified really quickly, but it only took, I'd say, about a little bit over an hour until I reached a critical story point where it said, well, now you need to earn 100% approval by all the people in this certain district in order to advance the story any further.
Yeah, that's a pretty cheap way of doing it if you have to do 100% of something. Most games would do it like 70%. Like in Mafia 3, you would have a certain amount of activities you had to do, and then you could face the boss. Or you could do all of them if you wanted to, which I decided to do because I really enjoyed the grind in that game. Many people would disagree, but I really enjoyed the Mafia 3 grindy style of busting different rackets and doing different stuff.
Which meant I had to walk around this city and repetitively sabotage little items. I had to kill troops who were harassing citizens. I had to unlock safe houses by simply just getting inside them and pressing a button on a radio. Boring, boring, fucking boring. It's the same shit you've done in Far Cry 500 zillion fucking times.
He's very, very excited about Far Cry 6, by the way.
Obvious they blatantly stole it from that formula, and they really didn't have any originality with this game. Once you unlock that 100% approval rating for that part of the district, you then get to do a few more story missions, which are incredibly annoying because the frame rate's so bad and the performance of the game is so poor on PlayStation 4 that you're gonna die a million
What is this gameplay? What is this gameplay? Shooting him with like a pipe pistol.
times just trying to do
Look at
basic
this. Reloading, not moving anywhere. What is this? Is this a gamer playing this game? Or it's a toddler?
things, like shoot the fucking enemy that's 2 inches in front of your goddamn face,
Mega toxic segment.
who's a fucking idiot and walks directly in front of your gun, but you still can't manage to fucking hit with bullets. This game
And he showed this gameplay as a proof of what he means. And this is terrible gameplay to show. He's not moving anywhere. He's sitting in a corner waiting for people around the corner. He's not even trying to make this look fun or enjoyable. It's just sitting there. Terrible.
is a fucking piece of shit. It's terrible. It's not worth $60, and after playing it for 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours, by the way. This review, this 1 million review. 1 million. He didn't even get to the end game. He didn't unlock the cool guns or any kind of cool stuff. He just 3.5 hours, 1 million views. Let's go. Worst game I've ever played. Worst game ever. 3.5 hours.
I never want to fucking play it again. I immediately deleted it off of my PlayStation 4. Good riddance to bad fucking rubbish.
That fucking
Well,
rubbish.
Phil, you might say. You've been around the block. You've been doing gameplay videos on YouTube for 8+ years. You've played some pretty bad stinkers before. How does this game rank amongst the worst? Ooh, am I glad you said that, because I personally prepared to tell you why I think that Homefront the Revolution is the worst fucking game I've ever played. Let's talk about some of the worst games that I've ever touched on YouTube. First off, Epic Mickey. That's right, I'm going there.
Great high quality gameplay. Look at this. You can't even see what some of the HUD is about. I have no idea.
All the way.
There's some TV in the corner. There's Mickey in the other corner with like some health points. Crazy, crazy, crazy. DSP Institute says game devs use Phil's footage to see if even the dumbest player can figure out how to play their game. This is a true story. I'm gonna show you real quick. Now DSP. Let's see. Game dev convention or something. It was something like that. This is not gonna be. It's not gonna be as easy as I thought. God of War devs. It was a God of War thing, but I have no idea. And I'm using Microsoft Bing, by the way, so good luck finding anything on Bing. Oh yeah, here it is. Sony tries to show successful level design of a clip of DSP. Yep.
Example. I want you to watch what the player does here.
Look at this. They blurred out his face. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. This should be good.
Boats around.
Taste of vanilla magic led him to new forms of experimentation.
We're back.
New levels of depravity.
Look where we are. We're back.
Okay, so in this example, the player is exploring the hub. They've been correctly taught the shock arrow mechanic. And thanks to the design work done by Kai Zheng, they've also been told that shock arrows mean interesting themes and that there's a lot of different variety and a lot of different gameplay, right? So we've made a convincing promise to the player. So watch it one more time, and I want you to watch just what the camera behavior does.
The taste of vanilla magic led him to new forms of experimentation.
We're back.
New levels of depravity.
Look where we are. We're back.
Boom, and there it is. He saw a shock crystal, right? He has been taught correctly. He has been promised interesting gameplay. And because he is returning to the hub, he is thinking, oh, I feel like doing one of those. I know how those work. I'm in the mood for one of those. Or he can just explore it on his own. That is the benefit. The result is that we do have a compass system and we do have a map, right? But our hope is that players will be self-motivated and that self-discovery will drive their exploration instead. It's good for players to feel motivated via UI or completion percentages. These are very valid design techniques and tools. But it's also good if players are self-motivated because they're actually seeking out interesting content. If this player likes shock crystal scenarios, then he can go and find more of them on his own. Players are trained that new abilities will be unlocked in the levels and that in turn, interesting scenarios will be delivered. So the promise becomes more than just completion percentages. The promise becomes interesting scenarios. And
yeah, that's about it with DSP. So yeah, he's an example as if the stupidest guy can do it, then everybody can do it. That's great. And it is good game design. If DSP managed, then everyone else is gonna manage.
Way back to December of 2010, the Wii console exclusive game release that was an action platformer with painting and erasing mechanics starring Mickey Mouse.
This, by the way, it's already the worst game ever. He's not gonna talk about the story or any other aspects of the game. It's just low FPS and repetitive, and the NPCs were cloned. So he didn't even get further into the game, which maybe is the better part of the game. I don't even know. I didn't get there myself. But worst game ever? I don't know. Probably not.
I hated this fucking game, mostly because being on the Nintendo Wii, it had to implement motion control mechanics that made the platforming incredibly difficult in certain areas, where if you were just able to use a standard controller to play the game, it probably would have been way easier. In addition, the limitations of the Wii's graphical engine made the game pixelated, made certain areas of the game chug along at an incredibly low frame rate, and overall the game just performed very poorly on a console that obviously couldn't handle the kind of creative vision that the game director had for the game. Ultimately, Epic Mickey was a sales success because it came out in the holiday season of 2010 and it was the only major release.
Manatee says the funniest part about this is that he wanted the game devs to ask him for permission for that footage of their own game. It's very interesting actually, because DSP has talked multiple times that you know what Nintendo was doing. They didn't want their games to be played. You know, you had to get their permission or whatever. So DSP asking for permission for something that is on YouTube? I don't know. I should ask him for permission to restream his stuff.
For kids during that period of time, so it made a ton of money. However, later, when the sequel came out, people had finally realized how bad of a game this was. The sequel completely critically flopped, no one bought it, and this series is...
No one bought it. He didn't do any research, but no one bought it. Because he didn't buy it, I guess.
Deader than dead. Epic Mickey is a shitty game, but The game would have been functional if not for the console that it was on, the Nintendo Wii. I full-heartedly believe that if this game had been cross-platform or been on the Xbox 360 or PS3, it could have been a hit. It's the shame of the game developer to make it console exclusive. That's the reason that it failed, and that's why I don't think it's actually as bad as Homefront: The Revolution. Well, what about Conduit 2? That's right, actually the month after I played the original Homefront on the Xbox 360,
Conduit 2.
I played Conduit 2 on the Nintendo Wii, and boy, what a contrast between those two games at the time, being that Conduit 2 tried to be ambitious. It was trying to be a Halo-esque style of alien invasion shooter where you're fighting gauntlets of enemies, you're picking up unique weapons, you're using them against the enemies. It even had some unique gameplay features in it. The problem being, again, the game was a Nintendo Wii exclusive and the console could...
But this is still terrible gameplay. Because if you wanna convince me that a game is bad, show me good instances of the game being bad. Because this is, I can't even tell. It's just him being terrible at the game, from what I can see.
Not handle what the game was trying to do creatively. It was plagued by terrible...
Yeah, he does consider himself the average gamer, which he's really not. I think he's even below average in the way that he approaches games and how much he cares about games. Yeah, I think so.
Graphics. You couldn't even tell what things were at a distance, yet they were able to snipe you and insta-kill you when all you could see was a few fucking delayed or distorted pixels in the background of the game, making enemies unhittable. The frame rate chugged super low in parts, and because of this, it made the game almost impossibly difficult to beat. Of course, keep in mind the ending was complete crap.
This gameplay is almost impossible to fucking sit through. It's terrible gameplay, and the resolution and everything is absolutely terrible. It's just terrible. It looks ugly as fuck.
Never mind that. This game, probably again, much like Epic Mickey, would have been a better game if it had been developed on one of the more modern consoles, such as the Xbox 360 or the PS3, and it was really only the console, the Nintendo Wii, that held it back. And again, that's why I think Conduit 2 is not as bad as Homefront: The Revolution. Last but certainly not the best out of this stinky countdown would be Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, which just released last fall of 2015. This game was a disgrace. A game developer that blatantly didn't care about what they were actually putting into their game and just wanted to capitalize on the license they had to the Tony Hawk franchise before they lost it at the end of the year.
Yeah, this game was terrible.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 did everything possibly fucking wrong that they could do with a skating game. The gameplay literally degraded to that of a Tony Hawk game from the 1990s, having no story, no campaign, no actual selectable characters from the get-go that you would want to fucking play with or have any kind of difference between them.
Yeah, I mean, come on, they have such amazing Tony Hawk games. The Pro Skater Underground, or this was Need for Speed. I'm not sure, but the Pro Skater Underground 2 remix, I think. It was one of the most amazing games I played. I played it on a PSP. Fantastic. I loved it. And it had all this like really cool stuff.
It was basically, no matter who you picked, you just going through very boring, generic trials, doing things such as grabbing fucking ice cream cones, or hitting fucking beach balls out of a stupid pool, you know.
Look how fucking salty he is. He's genuinely, like, maliciously salty. It's not even like Angry Joe, where he's salty because the game sucks, but that's kind of his persona. He's supposed to be angry. Even when the game is good, he's gonna be angry. But, and this has been turning into a you know, the I love Angry Joe stream. But I really like the guy, and his content has aged very well. Except the skits, but the skits are kind of lighthearted nowadays and self-aware of how cringe they are. That's what makes them a little bit funny.
No, that's the things I think of when I think of Tony Hawk, right? No, not in 2016, especially because in the mid-2000s we had Tony Hawk games that were far better and had totally progressed the series past this. This was a total regression just for the sake of selling a game for $60.
Was it Underground? Let me look it up.
The game ran at 60 frames per second and for the most part was fully playable. There were no issues there. Yeah, the graphics weren't the most detailed, but you...
Yes, I was exactly right. Tony Hawk Underground 2 remix. I love this. Tony Hawk's Underground, yes. It's not Tony Hawk Underground. You know what I mean. And then EA had the Skate series, which were great, but I could never play them because they were never on PC, I think. And at the time, I didn't have anything else. I just had a PSP. And that just had Tony Hawk games, which were really fucking nice.
You could play the game, even though it was a shitty one, you could still play it. And again, that's why I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 is still better than Homefront The Revolution. And that, simply put, is why I think Homefront The Revolution is the worst of the worst.
I think it's the worst of the worst because at launch it had severe issues, as a lot of games at launch. And of course, when it's a smaller studio that it doesn't have as much budget, the first patch is gonna come much later than the launch day patch, or the day one patch, or other stuff, other patches. They didn't have money to do it.
Epic Mickey and Conduit 2 both had some creativity to them and probably would have been pretty good games if not console exclusives on the Nintendo Wii, which could just not handle the creativity that those directors wanted to put into their games. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 is a piece of shit, but at least it's a functional piece of shit. Homefront.
Razio says in chat, DSP is the guy who ranted about how bad WWE Champions is, while behind the scenes he dumps thousands into it per month. Yes, exactly. And also, he did have this instance where there were some screenshots of him on Discord, in the WWE Champions Discord, where he was talking about how they shouldn't put a spending ban in the game or something, so whales can't spend that much money. Some stuff. It was very bizarre. I can't really find it right now because I don't remember. Maybe I saw it on Twitter. But it was a bizarre instance of him being self-aware of the fact that he's spending thousands of dollars on Candy Crush. But still, take a sip.
The Revolution is neither. It's got no creativity, it's got no originality, it blatantly steals.
This is not creative or original gameplay, it's just him standing there and pressing the shoot button every once in a while.
Repetitive and boring gameplay from other games, and it's completely non-functional, low frame rate crap on the PlayStation 4. This game developer, Damn Breaker, whoever the fuck they are, should be ashamed of themselves. Deep Silver should be seeking to give refunds to everyone who bought this fucking game, and I can't imagine that anyone is ever going to buy a game from them ever again. To add insult to injury, I have to read this from Wikipedia, you won't believe it. In March of 2015, Deep Silver announced that Homefront The Revolution was delayed until 2016 for
the look at this dude. Oh my god, man. He couldn't even screenshot a page properly. It's all cut out. Oh, this fucking dude.
The reasons that they wanted to ensure their development staff would have every opportunity to turn it into a best-selling title.
That's what every corporate response is like. That's what Cyberpunk said. And the game literally wasn't finished for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One.
What the fuck?
Of course that's what gonna say.
Damn Breaker Studios do for a fucking year, because they certainly didn't optimize the game, they certainly didn't add any kind of gameplay that's fun.
And also, I really hate why he's so mad at the developers and not at the publisher. Which, the publisher are the people who actually determine when the game has to go out. And it's their fault, in this case, pretty much. The developers make the game. So, why? Why? I'm pretty sure the developers wish they did better. Or wish they made a product that people enjoyed more than what they did. Come on, why shit on the developer when he has developed nothing ever? And I don't even mean as a software or something. He's developed his YouTube channel into, if we were to transfer it to a game, into basically a mobile game. And he runs his game like it's a gacha game. He runs his stream like that. So, come on, DSP. Don't shit on developers.
Probably sat there with their thumbs up their motherfucking asses and spinning, saying, I can't wait for the money to pay off all the hard work that we didn't put into this fucking garbage game.
Wow.
This is the worst game I've ever played. Stay the fuck away from me. Well, that's it, everyone. I certainly hope that you liked
Yeah,
the
great. And in a plug segment with the text on the screen. Well, now it comes the moment where we rate this. And for people that just tuned in, we have a scale from 1 to 10. It's a very unique and chill and interactive scale in which we rate every part of the game that I could think of. Now, here it goes Homefront the Revolution. That's the name of the game. You know, this is a very scientific... Wow. We released more Fallout games by accident. Okay, now this is... I'll just write at Homefront 2. You already know what it is anyways. So, how informative was this review about the game? Well, he didn't finish it. So he doesn't even know where the story goes or what you unlock later in the game. Or how the gameplay changes or what new areas there are. Because he played for 3.5 hours. So it's not an informative review. He didn't finish playing the game. And this was a 20-something minute, 17-minute long video. So he didn't finish the game. What am I supposed to say? It's a 2, okay? Because if it was a 1, then you wouldn't even learn that it's a broken game and that the frame rate is low, whatever. Production value is a 1, because that's the minimum you could go. And it's beginning to become a pattern. Entertainment value. Now, I could say that this is a 3. This is the highest rating he's gotten over anything, because some of the ranting is quite entertaining. Uniqueness and personality is 2, because he yelled a little bit, so I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to give him 1s on everything. I want to be a little bit fair. Quality of the gameplay. Now, the quality of the gameplay was a 1. I would even love to give it a 0. But the quality of the gameplay was simply just terrible. It was terrible. Now, this sums up to a 1.8 out of 10. The glowing score of 1.8 out of 10 for this review. According to me, of course, according to my subjective reviews. Now we go back to the playlist. That was fantastic. Now, the No Man's Sky is the other one, but that is just this review, but much worse. It's actually just being malicious. I don't know if you guys would want to see this. I would like to see the top 10 worst things at E3 2016. This seems like an entertaining video because I get to take to go back in time to 2016 and think of what games I played from this. Maybe we're actually going to go to the No Man's Sky video. If you want, just let me know in chat if you care about the No Man's Sky thing.
What's going on, everyone? Phil here for KOGaming, and E3 2016 is upon us.
Oh, this was the time where he was using this backing music the entire time. It was amazing.
Every year, the world's best game developers...
This little like Snoop Dogg-like song. Think Snoop Dogg.
Developers and game publishers try to strut their stuff amongst the big stage to show us their latest offerings and things that they're working on. This year had absolutely no shortage of highs and lows. In this series, we're going to take a look at my personal picks for some of the worst things that I felt appeared at E3 2016.
The transition is like a 65-year-old man made it. It's like this across the screen. Come on, DSP.
Now, keep in mind, this is my personal countdown. You can completely disagree with it, which is okay. If you do, be sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think.
Okay, since we have a request for the No Man's Sky review, we're gonna see it after this one. Because that one is, I know, it's the look at your game, Sean, look at your game. It's fantastic DSP moment. It's very funny. But first I want to see E3 2016, because I love me some E3 videos and top 10 lists. Now, this is, as well, this channel wasn't really popping, even when he tried to jump on the trend. His most popular videos is just the 1 million video, the 100K, and that's it. And then he drops under 100, and then it's like 65, 55, 54. This channel was trash. Even when it came out, when he was allegedly saying it was hot, it was trash. It was hot trash.
Here we go, the top 10 worst things about E3 this year. Number 10, Titanfall 2. A couple years ago, Titanfall was released, and
Yeah, No Man's Sky was a scam. Let me be clear. Now it's not. Now it's a pretty great game for the price that I bought it, which was like $15 or something. Still a great game for that price. You can do a lot of stuff. It's very chill and it's very interactive. But back in the day, it was a literal scam, and they were misleading people as much as Cyberpunk misled people. Not as much. No, nearly as much. I correct myself. I'm wrong on that.
And this was the first of a slew of multiplayer-only, full-priced retail releases that basically had people wondering, gee, I wonder if this will be worth it. Can you actually make a game that's only multiplayer that's worth full retail price? This was the first of that line of games, and therefore tons of hype, tons of marketing budget went into it from Microsoft, and it actually sold tons because people bought into it. However, after just a few weeks to a month, most people got tired of the game, realizing it didn't.
Dude, what is this? Why is this Titanfall gameplay on the screen? Why is it a thing? This is a E3 video. This editing.
Not have enough content to actually warrant a full retail release or to warrant more than a few weeks interest, and the game completely died out after only a couple months. I haven't heard of Titanfall in a million years, yet at E3 2016, here we go with Titanfall 2.
Oh, that's a terrible take. Titanfall 2 was great. It was a great game, and it set the foundation for what we have as Apex Legends today. And Respawn are good developers. So apparently being salty about it is good. Didn't even make him a lot of views. He was salty about E3 and got 47k. And people didn't even like the video a lot. Look at that like dislike. That's not just because he's DSP, that's because it's a bad take.
So you might ask yourself, why is a sequel being made to a game that died out after only a few weeks or months? Well, the bottom line is the game made tons of money because people didn't realize at the time that these multiplayer-only games aren't really worth it. So now they're making a sequel, and unfortunately, after watching the trailer, all I have to say is, I'm not impressed. All I see that's new in this game is some new melee animations and also a grappling hook that pulls enemies towards you for an instant kill. The game looks almost identical to the first one, and with only 6 new mech types being announced to be in the game, sounds to me like another overpriced $60 dud. Hopefully people don't fall for the same trick twice. Fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not falling for that crap again. Number 9.
He's been fooled so many times by so many different scams. Come on. Every single scam and every single marketing strategy he's bought. He just didn't play Anthem, which is very funny to me. I thought he would play Anthem. I played Anthem a couple months after it came out on EA Access, which was for $3 a month or something. Pretty crazy.
EA's huge Battlefield 1 multiplayer event right after their press conference at E3. So you might say, wow, we're gonna finally see the 32-player versus 32-player gameplay of Battlefield 1 for the first time. It's one of the most incredibly hyped first-person shooters of the year. I wonder what EA's gonna pull this off. Maybe they had a contest so gamers could play it, or maybe lucky people who were there at E3 got in line and got to play the game. Nope. In a classic move where EA doesn't understand what people actually want, they actually paid celebrities to show up to E3 and play the game.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I remember Snoop Dogg was just crashing his plane into buildings and into the ground. They were getting beaten by kids. It was very funny to watch. But it's like, yeah, I mean, E3 is kind of out of touch sometimes, but don't you miss this in a post-pandemic world and currently pandemic ongoing world? An event like this where you get a lot of hype and they show off a lot of shiny games that, yeah, they might end up being terrible, but come on, it was chill. It was very interactive at least. And now all we get is like online stuff and Twitch chat just saying everything is trash, I guess. Even though there's a lot of cool games coming out.
Including Jamie Foxx, Zac Efron, Terry Crews, Snoop Dogg, who not only played the game, but was visibly seen smoking pot as he played it backstage, amongst a few others. Dear EA,
legal in California?
Gamers don't care about celebrities playing your games. In fact, it's actually worse because we know these celebrities normally don't play them and probably suck at them. We'd rather see real gamers play the game so we can actually get a good idea of the gameplay.
They should have invited DSP to this one. Where am I playing? You still haven't told me yet.
Fail, you wasted your money and once again proved that you are not in line with what the common gamer wants. Number 8. Project Scorpio from Microsoft. Now, I'm not saying that Project Scorpio is a bad thing. In fact, it's pretty cool that we may now actually have a console that could stand up to high-end PCs and may even be upgradable in the future. But my question is this: why now? Why did Microsoft announce Project Scorpio at E3 2016 when it doesn't even have a release date until holiday of 2017? And
Also, Snoop Dogg just smoked weed because he was Snoop Dogg. It wasn't allowed. Yeah, okay, thanks for the lore. That's actually pretty interesting.
They just...
Yeah, I mean, obviously they wouldn't allow smoking weed on Twitch. I don't know.
Announced the Xbox One S
on E3.
About an hour earlier in the same exact press conference.
I thought DSP was a celebrity. DSP plays games, right?
Talk about confusion for the common gamer. So if you already have an Xbox One, should you buy the Xbox One S?
This guy looks like he's CGI.
Or should you wait for the Scorpio? If you buy an Xbox One S, what do you do? Do you want to wait for the Scorpio? Should you hold off on even getting an Xbox One?
What is this like word salad with just clips of E3 going on? With KOGaming watermark. DSP, you don't have the right to put a fucking watermark on an Xbox video. I don't think he could.
Together, all this did, having so many consoles now available that are all basically the same, is confuse the common consumer into not knowing what to do. In addition, also the fact that game developers are now going to have to make their games so they're compatible with all versions of the Xbox One console. Talk about a big hurdle when you have to make a game compatible with 3 completely different consoles at the same time.
Hold on, DSP. This is literally how life works right now. You have to make your console compatible, your game compatible with the PS4, the PS4 Pro, and the PS5. Or right now, and in the future, it's gonna move away from the PS4. But still, you have to do it. This is a terrible fucking argument. Even back in 2016. Come on, it works the same way it works for phones.
It's just going to be extra development, extra woes for game developers. I'm left kind of scratching.
As if DSP cares about game developer woes. If he cared at all about what game developers feel, he wouldn't be shitting on them, personally shitting on them.
In my head. Now, I know a lot of people actually like the idea of Project Scorpio. For me, if I'm going to get a 4K
I like the idea of Project 7.
TV maybe sometime next year, cool, because 4K gaming I'm sure is going to be all the rage. But for right now, I don't see the viability of it, and I have no idea why it was announced so early. It's just going to leave people scratching their heads. Number 7, Troy Baker is cast as the voice of Batman in the new Telltale game series. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Mr. Baker. He's an amazing voice actor, and there's a reason why AAA game development studios go to him as a go-to guy when they're putting out their biggest and best games. But let's face it, over the past 5 years, Troy has been in almost every high-profile release. I mean, the guy is massively overexposed, and it's gotten to the point that every time that there's a game with him as voice actor, I can pick his voice out instantaneously and say, well, there's Troy Baker, and it almost is jarring and pulls me out of the game experience because I've heard his voice so much. Perfect example here. He did the voice of the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins, and then subsequently ended up being the Joker in many different...
I don't get what's wrong with why this is one of the worst things at E3. He had to really go really deep. Had to make some brave reaches.
Animated series and such that came out afterward. Now, only a couple years later, he's going to play the opposite role of Batman. Oh, now before you get ahead of me and say, oh, but Phil, Troy's already been the voice of Batman in the Lego series. Okay, fair enough, but that's the Lego series. Let's face it, the mainstream DC Comics fans who are playing all the Batman games know that Kevin Conroy has always kind of been the quintessential Batman ever since the Batman animated series from the 1980s and 90s. Troy Baker being Batman, I don't buy it. To make matters even worse, Laura Bailey is doing the voice of Catwoman. But Laura Bailey also did the lead female role in last year's Tales from the Borderlands, as well as Troy Baker doing the lead male role. So basically what you're telling me now is we have an elitist club of voice actors who whenever Telltale Games...
An elitist club. A boys club, as he would call it.
...is going to do one of these, they're going to call upon them. I don't like that. I like variety. I'm sure there's thousands of voice actors out there who need work and could probably do a pretty damned good job. I don't want to hear the same people in every single game. This is a pattern that has ggone on far.
But, you know, the voice actor changes his voice, right? So that's how he plays a different character. That's like saying I don't want to see Brad Pitt in a lot of movies. That makes no sense.
For too long. I'm sorry, Troy, but I'd like to hear someone else as the role of Batman. This actually turned me off. Number 6, Injustice 2 is going to have an equipment system that will modify character stats. For those of you who don't know, I'm a former professional fighting game player.
For those who don't know, I'm a professional fighting game player.
I'm a mature adult with a business degree. Around the block, I know about fighting games and how these things can affect stuff. So when it was announced at E3 this year that
Obviously,
there was going to be an equipment system by which random equipment would drop at the
KOGaming, I don't think is still monetized, I gotta say.
End of matches, you could equip this onto your characters.
That's why it's abandoned. If it could be monetized, then he would be uploading stuff.
To modify their stats, I was left kind of scratching my head. Listen, I know that in tournament scenes, people always want an equal playing field. And I know from the get-go, they will never allow this equipment system. So why does it exist in the game? I don't understand why we need to modify stats. All this does is rewards people who are going to play the game absolutely non-stop at launch week, get the most overpowered gear, and then are going to go online and beat you because they have more damage and more health than you. It's stupid. It's a dumb gimmick. It's been done before in other fighting games, and it's almost always failed miserably. Now, in its defense, Ed Boon was interviewed at E3 and said, don't worry, there are going to be modes where this is disabled, and I'm sure there will be both online gameplay with and without the equipment because people will want to...
So he's complaining for no reason. There is modes for that disable that. Why? What's the issue with it? Come on.
Play the game for a tournament setting, and they would never allow this kind of equipment in it. To which I respond, that's great, Ed, but then why does it exist? If you know it's going to make the game unbalanced, don't put it in the game. Just do an outfits system where while playing the game, you can unlock different outfits of equipment. Maybe new shoulder pads, a new helmet, a new color outfit for a character, or an alternate outfit. That's what...
Like Mortal Kombat, that shit was dope.
Gamers want. We don't want things that modify the stats of a competitive game and make it unbalanced. I mean, come on, it's 2016, Ed.
Yeah, but you have modes that don't require that, so you can just not do it. Come on. It's just a new gameplay mechanic. You can use it or not use it.
You know this.
Why are you bitching for no reason? Because it's a top 10 list. He had to fill the list with a bunch of stuff.
I don't know who's feeding it in your ear that this is a good idea. It's not. We don't want it. It's a dumb thing, and it's just pointless. Number 5, EA and Microsoft both pushing their early access programs down our throat during their respective press conferences. So for those of you who may not have seen the press conferences from these major AAA game studios this past week, both EA and Microsoft are saying they're going to offer early access to exclusive games if you become part of their early access programs. Now, to make matters worse, EA actually charges for their program. It's $5 a month, and you get basically around 10 hours of gameplay of some titles early. For example, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which was released just a couple weeks ago, ended up getting a 10-hour advanced gameplay thing about a week early for those who were part of this program, and EA has already announced that if you're part of the program, you'll get Battlefield 1 a full week early and be able to play the multiplayer for about 10 hours before you even buy the game. I am strongly against this practice.
This way people can try out the game before buying it, and also reviewers can make their opinion and get material ready for when the game launches or the embargo lifts, so they could post it. Kind of makes sense. I mean, you don't have to do it, and it's basically a bad practice, but there are some benefits to it, I guess. But yeah, it is kind of one of the worst things about E3. I give him that. It's a good point.
Everyone should get an equal opportunity and be on an equal footing when it comes to these games. Why do some people who have more money or have some elitist exclusive access be able to play them early? It's bullshit. Everyone should get that opportunity. Maybe if 10 hours are available, then give it to everyone as a free open beta the week before. Don't make people pay to get that access. It's completely ridiculous. It's anti-consumer, and I completely disagree with it. In addition, it actually creates confusion. For example, the upcoming indie release We Happy Few is apparently going to get an advanced release with the Xbox preview program.
Yeah, that's a good point for the confusion. Now, Anthem is one of the biggest offenders because they had this thing. These are the ways you can play Anthem, go figure. Because they have a bunch of editions and a bunch of dates where the game comes out. to the point where it's so confusing when you can play a game. And the game was shit anyways. Terrible game. They were hyping up Anthem 2.0 and then nothing happened. It never happened, you guys.
Coming July. But how do you get it? How do you register for the program? How do you properly get in line to do it? There's no information right now on the internet.
They didn't call him on the phone to tell him how to register.
As how to do it. So I really want to play We Happy Few, but I have no idea if I'll actually be able to play the game on this early advance date in July, or if I'm going to have to wait for a formal release date. It's bullshit. You have a release date for a game, release it on the date. You have a demo, release the demo. Don't make it so only certain people can have access at certain times. It's elitist bullshit. Tired of it. Moving on. Number 4, bad virtual reality games on display. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that virtual reality has no uses, and I'm certainly not saying that there won't be any good virtual reality games, but these two particular ones in particular that were on display during the Ubisoft press conference just didn't...
The Ubisoft? The Ubisoft press conference. Let's go.
Uses, and I'm certainly not saying that there won't be any good virtual reality games, but these two particular...
The taking a breath like he's a rapper. He just been freestyling 30 minutes straight.
Ones in particular that were on display during the Ubisoft press conference just did not rub me the right way. First of all, Eagle Flight. It's capture the flag. It's something we've seen.
He just didn't understand what it is. He watched the trailer and didn't get it, and then it's like, that's one of the worst things at E3. Thanks for the top 10 video. This is much worse than a Watch Mojo video. At least they keep it short.
A million times before the...
He doesn't even say what number is on screen, so I don't know where on the list we are.
Only difference is...
But it's a top 10 list.
You're flying instead of running on the ground. The graphics look terrible. They're all cartoony, they're plotchy, they're almost cel-shaded. It doesn't look like a good game. And even seeing the people play this game is absolutely laughable, where they have to wiggle their heads around in 100 different directions.
Yeah, but without this game, and games like this existing, you wouldn't have games like Half-Life Alyx, or Phasmophobia, or all the ones that are fantastic with VR. So what's the point? How is this one of the worst things? It's just a game where you fly as a bird.
Directions to even keep track with what's going on. The game looks terrible, and it's certainly not anything I'm going to drop a lot of money on VR to play.
And he didn't cut out this part of the video, which is just promotional, like the actual outro of the video. He just left it in. This is how much he cares about his content, as he makes a top 10 worst video about companies. That some of them actually care.
Now, what about Star Trek virtual reality, where they actually got LeVar Burton and other previous cast members of the Star Trek crew to come out and try the game and actually basically kiss its ass during the E3 conference?
Yeah, obviously, they're celebrity endorsements. Come on. Don't buy into the hype.
Take a look at the graphics. I mean, listen, I know how VR works.
Graphics are bad, therefore the game is bad.
To run at an incredibly high frame rate, far above 60 frames per second, for it to actually look realistic when you have that VR headset on. But that means that apparently some of these game developers are going to have to massively dumb down the graphical detail of their games in order to get it to work. But just take a look at the bridge. It looks like crap. It looks like an early, maybe mid-2000s or even 1990s
He's so pissed.
PC game. I just am not sold on spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for a great VR setup to experience this kind of a game. Listen, it could have the best gameplay ever, so I could be completely off base here, but these two games did not look good and certainly did zero to sell me on virtual reality at E3 this year. Number 3, the Final Fantasy 15 gameplay demo during the Microsoft press conference.
Oh, it's number 3. Okay, we're almost done. I can't wait for number 1. I'm very excited.
Now, I'm certainly not saying that there wasn't tons of great gameplay of Final Fantasy 15 on display this week. In fact, it's quite the contrary. But if you only watch the major press conferences, the demo that they decided to do live at the Microsoft one was less than impressive.
What do you mean? This is supposed to be number 3 worst things, and you put something that is less than impressive, and something that, I don't even know what to say, man. Come on. How is this number 3? It's not even that terrible. They showed a demo, and they also showed other materials. But he's saying it's number 3 because if you watched this, then this was not good. I don't fucking know. I'm so confused right
In
now.
this fight, it was basically the main character taking on the giant Titan summon creature. And all that happened was Titan basically pimp slapped the living shit out of this player on stage for about a minute straight until finally he mashed a button, randomly got a hit in, and then the whole fight just ended. It made no sense, and it basically made it look like the guy had no idea how to play the game and that the boss fight was terrible. I'm sure if you actually knew how to do the boss fight, it would have been a lot better.
I'm pretty sure DSP wouldn't have done much better than this.
Apparently this guy wasn't prepared or just had the jimmies up there. Maybe he was just so nervous he didn't know what he was doing. But sorry, seeing one get their ass handed to them as a demo of gameplay at E3 is not exactly what I would consider great promotion. It looked terrible, and I hope that that guy recovers. Number 2. EA once again doesn't understand what its consumers want by focusing on sports games and esports at its press conference. Now, for those of you who did not see the EA press conference earlier this week, it lasted about an hour long. And no exaggeration, about 20 to 30 minutes of that press conference was exclusively spent on Madden 17, FIFA 17, and esports. Half of the press conference was for one type of game that most people watching E3 don't give two shits about. I'm sorry, I've said this for every year, that people who watch E3 are tuning in to find out about a wide variety of games.
But DSP, these games make a massive amount of money. Even back then they made a massive amount of money, especially nowadays. With the FIFA Ultimate Team and stuff, damn, they make money off of people like DSP.
The person who's watching all the E3 press conferences is either in gaming journalism or they're a hardcore gamer who want to see a wide variety of information. This is not the opportunity for EA to try to advertise to the sports gamers. Now let's face it, sports gaming is huge. In fact, FIFA is EA's hugest title, making them the most money every single year, and Madden is no slouch either. But the bottom line is this: those people aren't watching E3. They're going to buy those games every year regardless because they're huge fans of those sports. And then the new focus this year was on esports, that EA was going to start their own competitive leagues, and then they literally spent 5 to 10 minutes profiling 2 players who are supposedly the 2 top Madden players in the United States. And
yeah, this is kind of boring.
They were so fucking boring. One kid, unfortunately, he could be the nicest guy and the best Madden player on the planet, but he's overweight and he's sitting here in a gaming chair, and he is just embarrassing as supposed to be the face of gaming to the mainstream. The other kid has a marble mouth and basically had absolutely nothing interesting to say.
Kind of like DSP, bro. Kind of like DSP.
Mumbling the entire time.
Mumbling. He turns into a mumble rapper.
Wasn't interesting to anyone. It was a complete waste of time. It sold no copies of Madden. EA needs to get their shit together and realize that E3 is the time to advertise to the hardcore gamers, and your press conference is the time to show a wide variety of stuff, not to only focus on 2 to 3 things for half the conference that no one watching cares about. You're gonna sell those games anyway. Focus on advertising other stuff, you dummies. Number 1, the worst thing at E3 this year was actually something that didn't happen. That's right.
What? It didn't happen. It's the worst thing and it didn't happen.
The new Modern Warfare remaster is still packaged with Infinite Warfare. Yeah, and you might say, oh, that's bullshit, this isn't really something that happened to E3, but I'm sorry, the absence of something at E3, in my opinion, is just as bad, if not worse, than something that did happen.
Okay, this is terrible. This is fucking terrible. This is the worst. I was so excited to hear his number 1, and it's something that didn't happen. Oh, that's big cringe. Now, a buggy, boring, unfinished ripoff. No Man's Sky review. And now let's just quickly rate this one and top 10 worst things. Oh, let's just wrap this up. Okay, how informative it was. It was a 3 because I got reminded of some things that happened. That's my opinion. Production value was terrible, so it's still 1. It was absolutely a nightmare. Entertainment value. It wasn't a fun video, it wasn't funny, it wasn't clever, it wasn't interesting, and it wasn't well paced. So it is a 1. And uniqueness, personality, there was some salt, so that was it, but it's still not very not a lot of personality going on. So yeah, I'll just go with 1. In quality of the gameplay, it was terrible as usual. It wasn't anything special. So this ranks tied for 2nd place at 1.4 out of 10. I think I'm being a little bit generous, but it is what it is. Now let's see this. This is his 2nd best video on this channel, and it's actually very positively received. This was when people were freshly pissed off by No Man's Sky.
What's going on, everyone? Phil here, and welcome to KOGaming. You know, every once in a while...
Welcome to KOGaming. It's just this, the fake voice just makes everything go worse. It makes me want to turn the uniqueness and the personality down to 1. Because, on everything. It's terrible. So here we have actually a 1.2 at this point. Pretty crazy.
A while, a new game comes out that totally revolutionizes the way that games are played and creates an entirely new genre of entertainment. No Man's Sky, with all of its potential and years of hype behind it, sadly, is not that game. Last week, during the launch window of the game, I played it for around 8 hours, and right here on this YouTube channel, I released my initial impressions and an early review after 8 in-game hours of gameplay, outlining some of the things that I both liked and disliked.
So with this game, he actually took a little bit more time. It took him 8 hours of gameplay.
About the game. A lot of people had a lot to say about that video, and I strongly recommend that you check it out before you watch this one. Over the past week, I spent another additional 7.5 hours in No Man's Sky, clocking in at just under 16 total gameplay hours under my belt. And I felt I've now played the game enough where I can give you a full-fledged final review about what I think about this game that tries to take a procedurally generated universe, including galaxy exploration, aerial combat with space pirates, a bunch of crafting for resources, buying, selling, exploration of alien worlds and interaction with alien cultures, and tries to turn it into something
good afternoon, Sasha.
Concrete and entertaining. I don't think...
And Oathkeeper says, his voice in KOGaming always feels forced, like he's trying to be the mainstream reviewer. He is just trying so hard to be entertaining and like this personality. And he was hoping that this channel would kind of, I don't know, change people's opinions, or it would be like a fresh start, like a clean slate. But making a new channel on YouTube doesn't change the fact that he was DSP. And when you're DSP, then everybody knows.
I think, sadly, that these game developers were successful in their overall mission. Because overall, this game ends up being a buggy, messy, unpolished, unfinished mess. It really does feel like most of the time that you're playing No Man's Sky that it's the beginnings of an idea. It's the first attempt at something epic that needs to be honed in and tweaked and refined for it to be a complete game. Let's talk a little bit about the foibles of No Man's Sky.
The foibles?
First off, when you first start playing No Man's Sky, your major concern is resource management, inventory management, and being able to upgrade and repair all of your equipment constantly, whether it's your exosuit so you can survive on these alien worlds, whether it's your ship so you can take off and fly and explore between them, or whether it's your multi-tools so that you have better mining capabilities and gathering these resources, or better combat capabilities so you can...
Dude, he talks so fucking fast, and it's still 2 minutes in, man.
Defend yourself if you
Jesus
happen
Christ.
to get attacked by a creature or a drone. After the first few initial hours of the game, once you figure out how to upgrade your inventory slots and where the best places to get these resources are, the game now kind of opens up and becomes a completely different style experience, which is cool until you start to realize one of the major shortfalls of the game. The promise of No Man's Sky was that it was going to use a unique mathematical formula to procedurally generate a randomly generated world where you could have a planet with different kinds of fauna and flora in different combinations, and that there was going to be a near infinite number of planets. There was no way you could ever visit them all, and it was going to be such a unique and interesting experience to be flying around all these different galaxies and finding all kinds of unique stuff. Unfortunately, that initial promise is never lived up to any time during the game in No Man's Sky. In fact, right now, the sampling of video that I'm showing you is not a trick sample where I tried to specifically weed out certain worlds that looked the same. The bottom line is that because of the random number generation aspect of No Man's Sky, you're gonna get barren worlds and or boring worlds with almost nothing to really look at or check out the vast majority of the time that you're investigating all around space. It's ridiculous. Why would you pay for a game where you're walking around almost completely empty planets? It's not exciting. And in the advertisements and the PR and everything that was pushed down our throats about No Man's Sky over the past several years, we were told, oh, such a wide variety of possibilities. You're gonna see this unique creature, you're gonna see this lush world, and none of it ever comes to fruition.
Yeah, this was a scam. This was all fake news. They promised everything in life.
Even in the
Terrible.
worlds that I landed that had a lot of cool, foliage and stuff like that, it never looked anything like any of the PR or advertisements.
Well, now it does. And DSP has gone worse and really never been better than what he's been doing now, so yay for No Man's Sky. But when it came out, it was a scam. So, yeah.
That were sent out for this
It's a mixed bag.
game. So the only thing I can think of is that it's incredibly rare that you would ever run into that stuff, but it's far more common that you're going to be on a barren, boring planet, and that's bullshit. In addition,
It's bullshit.
all of the alien settlements are exactly the same. Now, I don't mean that they look absolutely identical. They will have some slight variations here and there, but every space station on the inside has the same exact structure, the same exact layout. The only difference is the doors might look slightly different, and the type of alien, of which there's only 3 kinds of aliens in the entire game, might change dependent on which part of the universe or galaxy you're in currently. On the planets, the settlements all are pretty much the same. You go through a door, either it opens or you have to blow it up. You go inside, you interact with a terminal, you get an upgrade or 2 off the wall, maybe you interact with an alien, but it's all the same. They're all these bare bones, randomly generated things that are just completely uninteresting after you've seen them a couple dozen times. And it's sad that they
A couple of dozen times? Wow. That's actually quite a lot.
couldn't do anything different. They couldn't have a city. They couldn't have a town. No, it's all just completely barren worlds with tiny...
They do now. You can make your own city. It's still very buggy, but you can do it.
Little huts and buildings here or there. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If you're going through kind of universal exploration, you want to run into other kinds of intelligent...
Razel says, how many times can you mix that bag? You just keep mixing that bag until it is heavier on the positives, and then you give it a 9.5. That's a well-mixed bag.
Life and other civilizations, and outside of these generic space stations and generic little huts and settlements, nothing else ever happens in the game in that regard, and that's pathetic. But there's also the space battles, right? When space pirates come out and try to attack you and steal your
combat is not
cargo,
great.
or they're attacking some kind of a freighter and you can come to the rescue by following a distress call. Yeah, it's kind of cool the first couple of times that you do it, until you realize it's more of a time waster or a nuisance than anything else.
Just like DSP streams. It's kind of cool the couple of times, and then it's kind of depressing.
The time when you're out in space, you're trying to gather different resources so that you can upgrade your hyperdrive and you can warp longer distances, or you're trying to increase your shield. You're trying to do something with resource management, and most of the time you'll be interacted with these pirates when it's the worst possible time. You're running low on resources you're trying to gather to do an upgrade. Here they come. Of course, it's like clockwork, especially when you really are low on resources to replenish your shields. The pirates show up to piss you the fuck off and steal all of your inventory at the worst possible time. It really is just poorly thought out, and after you do it a couple times, you wish the whole aspect of the game was removed so you could get back to the resource and exploration and just say, fuck it, this is so annoying, I don't want to do it anymore. So really, once you get the handle of...
You can even hear the clicks from his mouse in the background as he was pausing the recording. Such a fucking incompetent streamer.
All of these constant kinds of things that are always going on, now you have to decide, what do you want to do when you're playing No Man's Sky? Do you just want to go out there and explore freeform for yourself? Do you want to try to get closer to the center of the universe, which seems to be this kind of looming waypoint in the distance? Or do you want to follow the path of Atlas? Well, for all intents and purposes, my first 8 hours, I pretty much just...
You can do whatever you want. That's kind of the point. Even though the stuff you could do are super generic, you could do whatever you want.
Explored wherever I wanted to, going through black holes and exploring alien worlds, to the point where I said, man, this is getting repetitive and boring. I think I should probably follow the path of Atlas.
Oh, this is the same footage, by the way. Recycling footage. Because this, we already saw this with the drop pod.
See what happens. Now, every time that you visit one of those Atlas interfaces, you're given what's called an Atlas Stone. In addition, you'll receive some upgrades, maybe some warp fuel, and you'll learn a bunch of alien words. So they actually end up being some pretty good destinations when you first start finding them. The bottom line is there's 10 of them. That's it. There's 10 Atlas interfaces in the entire game that you can visit, and each one will give you an Atlas Stone. Now, if you're exploring freeform like I was early on, you may not have no idea what these Atlas Stones are for. The game gives you absolutely no idea what they're for either, so I ended up selling one for a ton of money and then using that to buy more inventory slots and do more of the things that the game seemed to be steering you towards at its core gameplay elements. Well, about 7 or 8 hours into my playthrough, I said I'll start trying to go after this Atlas interfaces again, and eventually around the very end of my gameplay, at the end of around 15 and a half hours, I got to the last interface. Well, guess what happened? The game said, oh, you should have saved all your Atlas Stones, because if you had 10, you could create a star. And that was the end goal of the Atlas interfaces. Not that the game ever fucking told you that, so now
They didn't tell me. There's 10 things in the game, only 10, and each one gives you an item. They didn't tell me I should keep it. I threw it out. I thought there would be more than 10. Why would you think that? I don't know, I'm DSP.
9 times out of 10, I'm sure people probably would sell their Atlas Stones because the game's telling you to improve your inventory, get these resources, do these upgrades, and you don't even know what they're for. You're thinking, gee, maybe they're a rare asset to buy and sell. Then come to find out, after so long of following this Atlas path, that you wasted your time because you sold.
This actually also, yeah, it is a thing that happens in the game where it doesn't tell you that some items are important, but, you know, sometimes you gotta figure it out.
One of the stones. Now, you can get another Atlas.
It's a very complicated game nowadays. Back then it was kind of ass, but yeah, for a lot of stuff you just need to look it up in the wiki.
Stone, you have to randomly encounter an alien that has it in their inventory, which, by the way, they sell it for some insane amount of credits, like 500,000 or more. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I got pissed off and just basically didn't give a crap about the Atlas interface anymore when this happened, but I did find out that if you do create that star, all it does is create...
Yeah, there was only 10 interfaces in the whole game, and each one gives you an item. Specific, I forgot, Atlas Stone, and there's only 10 in the game, and he decided to not collect them and instead sell them, probably, or in the worst case he dropped it.
A randomly generated star in this open world No Man's Sky universe that you don't know where it is, you never see it, and has no impact on anything. So following the Atlas interfaces, one of the major reasons to play the game, is completely pointless.
Also, it's a scam.
All right.
But he didn't see it, so it makes it worse for him. Because he got scammed by the scam. Didn't even get to see the scam happen.
Right, so what about the other goal, reaching the center of the universe, right? Well, either if you put in a ridiculous amount of time to actually...
Yeah, you can't. It's very hard.
Get to the entire center of the universe, or if you find upgrades through random luck, that's right, because all of the upgrades in the game are based off of a random number generator, so one person might find the best warp upgrades and get to the center of the universe within 10 hours, while another person could play for 40 and never get the upgrade needed to get there quickly. I obviously disagree with that kind of gameplay mechanic, but whatever. Once you get to the center of the universe, guess what? There's nothing there. The game just resets and sends you back to the beginning, claiming that it's a brand new galaxy that you can now explore. It's completely a time waster. There's no ending. There's no end to the journey. There's no big payoff. There's not even a piece of narrative. It's just basically saying, fuck you. You paid us $60 and wasted all this time trying to...
This is a custom style meme, by the way. Fantastic. Of course, it is a shit joke. It's dog shit because dog shit is a phrase. So, and there is money on top. Very nice custom style meme from DSP.
get through our open, empty fucking universe just to get to the center, and there's nothing here. It's the ultimate insult to someone who put up with the boring, repetitive gameplay of this game at length just to get there and find out it was all just a waste of your time.
A waste of your time. Always at the end of the segment, it needs to be like a very, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing, folks. I fully understand that there are gamers out there who aren't like me and that might like a game like No Man's Sky. They enjoy the fact that the game doesn't hold your hand and give you detailed tutorials on what everything was in the game, so that feeling of exploration and discovery is actually a positive one for you. And there's
Tor in chat asks, what's up with DSP and scat fetish? Yeah, that is actually pretty alarming. And also Derek is his fan, and Derek loves him some scat movies.
Some people who aren't looking for a huge narrative-based experience or really any meaning to anything that they do in games. They just get hooked on this repetitive gameplay and they just want to play it at length. I get that. But even at face value, as an objective reviewer who has to say, I understand subjectively I may not like what this game is, objectively, this game is a broken mess, as I'm about to tell you about. First of all, I've already mentioned the random number generator mechanic of this game, where some people will get loot before others, and sometimes you'll get a great piece of loot that will allow you to do awesome stuff, like maybe walk on a planet you couldn't before because the environment was too harsh, or maybe you'll get a better multi-tool that's really awesome and has more slots, or maybe you'll get that very sought-after upgraded warp, so that instead of just warping from one cluster to another cluster, you can jump 20 to 30 light years at a jump. So I actually heard the highest level one could jump like 1,600 light years with one warp, which is pretty damn far. But guess what? The inventory system of the game is bugged. There were times during my gameplay of No Man's Sky that I earned a high level upgrade that I had been seeking for quite a long time, and it completely vanished.
Wait, let's see if there's evidence for that, because the terrible text on the screen makes me not be able to see what he's talking about. What he just got.
Like 1,600 light years with one warp, which is pretty damn far. But guess what? The inventory system of the game is bugged. There were times during my gameplay of No Man's Sky that I earned a high level upgrade that
There's no proof of it on screen, so I gotta take his word for it, and taking DSP's word is a massive X to doubt. Yes, thanks, Green Lobster. That's a big X.
I had been seeking for quite a long time, and it completely vanished. It would claim I had it, but then when I went to see if
Show the footage. Come on. Have a recording of it.
I could install it in my ship, it acted like I had never collected it before. And to make matters worse, I ended up getting
The game told him it didn't happen. The game debunked DSP. It was like, it didn't happen. You didn't get this warp drive.
That item again later on, but again, it wouldn't show up. So actually, in my experience playing No Man's Sky, I could never get to the center of the universe because the game wouldn't allow me to install the biggest, highest level warp engine in my ship because of a game bug. That's
But where is it? I literally can't
fucking
see
insane.
The footage where he got it. Did he show earlier?
You'll get a better multi-tool that's really awesome.
No, he doesn't get it from here.
So I actually heard the highest level one could jump like 16.
And yeah, there's no
is that an unfinished, buggy piece of crap. In addition to that, the physics of the game are completely screwed up. I've heard horror stories of people whose ships started, not landing properly and ended up being like suspended.
He heard horror stories about a video game. Very immersive.
In air, and you couldn't get to them properly. I've seen columns of minerals that you try to mine, and all of a sudden, for some reason, kind of a hazard. I mean, I played games 8+ years ago that had some kind of basic physics that are left out of No Man's Sky. It's absolutely fucking laughable that this game is being.
Yeah, that's not a. It's not a good comparison. It's completely different games, completely different engines, completely different ideas about the game. It's such a different thing to compare. It's so bizarre.
Sold at a full retail price. Everything about this game feels like the beginning stages of a game, an early alpha, an idea at a game that's going to be expanded upon in the future, yet unbelievably, this is being sold for full retail price as if it's complete. It's a fucking ripoff.
Rip
And
off.
so, undoubtedly, No Man's Sky is going to end up being
Come on,
another
just
one
stop fucking talking about it already. What the fuck?
of
4
those
more minutes.
gaming
Jesus
asterisks
Christ.
in the annals of history. A game that had massive potential, that could have changed the face of gaming with a unique kind of aspect, but sadly, I hate to say it, it's a great idea that was executed incredibly poorly. If anything, what I should say is this: Hello Games
Just like Project 7.
should set
Oh my lord. What is this? What is this image? What is this logo? This is a professional video. He made $1,000 off of this, probably, or at least couple $100. Look at this. He couldn't edit the background out to show the actual logo. What is the? Oh my god, it's terrible. DSP, you have no right to tell anybody anything. Come on.
sell their technology, their mathematical procedural generation formula to a game studio who has more experience, more financial backing, better means to create a game where this formula can be implemented and tied in with character.
He already made the game. Why would you give it to a different? This is how little he knows about anything, and he tries to give advice to companies like enterprises. Burnell Enterprises. This is what his actual business is called, by the way. That's his PayPal name is Burnell Enterprises. Then there's DSP Enterprises, and then there is Burnell Productions or something. There was 3 different things. Very interesting.
With story, with functional gameplay mechanics, with things that would make a universe feel like it's populated and vibrant and fun rather than barren and boring and repetitive and a waste of your time. Imagine if this formula were tied into a game like Mass Effect. Or imagine if a game like Destiny, outside of its repetitive team-based shooting, had a universal exploration and resource management.
Yeah, imagine if my grandma had wheels. She'd be a bicycle. Imagine GTA 6. Imagine that. That would be awesome, right? What is this fucking segment? Jesus Christ.
Aspect like this, that would be effing amazing, right? But the problem is, this game just tries to sell you this mathematical procedural generation formula as a game at face value, and it's not. If anything, what this showed is that the brains behind Hello Games are very intelligent, but they're not street smart. They get the book smarts stuff. They know that they can make a cool, unique thing, but they don't know how to
is DSP street smart? He barely goes on the street.
Translate that into a tangible game that a person would actually want to play. I've met people like this before who are highly and incredibly
You've never met
intelligent.
people before DSP. DSP's never met people before. There's no proof. It didn't happen.
But they can't relate that to the real world, and that's the major problem with No Man's Sky. It's an attempt to take a lofty ideal
He learned how to review games in the mean streets of Connecticut. He's street smart and book smart because he's a mature adult with a business degree. This man is everything.
I'm a mature adult with a business degree. Turn it into something entertaining, and it fails miserably. Overall, No Man's Sky is an empty, messy, unfinished, boring, waste of time, rip-off experience, and in my opinion, the best way to describe this game is either the ultimate time waster or the ultimate spin your wheels game. Meaning you can spend an infinite amount of time in this game exploring and crafting and gathering and flying and fighting pirates and gathering words and getting towards the unique center of the universe and blah blah yada yada. But
the rocking back and forth, that's peak DSP.
All is for
Best
nothing.
DSP
It all means nothing. And that's the major problem with the game. If anything, I think the people who would really enjoy No Man's Sky are people who zone out when they play games. Maybe you've got a television playing on the side. Maybe you're watching something else from the internet on another screen while you're playing the game. That's the kind of game No Man's Sky is. People who stream on Twitch and love interaction with their stream chat. This is your game, man, because you could just be playing this and not paying any attention while you're talking with other people and having way more fun that way. But as a $60 retail release at its core face value, this game is probably worth $15 at best for what is in it and for how buggy, messy, and unfinished it is. I give No Man's Sky a 4 out of 10 score. That's my final review. I'm not playing...
It's actually pretty high. Most people gave it a lower than this. 4 is still low-key mediocre.
this game anymore because I'm bored to tears and I've got far more productive things to do with my time.
Like what? Like what? Like what? Like what? Jerk off on stream? Beg? Yes. Sounds good. Well, this was it for this video and this stream. Thank you everybody for joining me. If you want to support the channel, you can drop a sub, you can drop a like, you can drop a follow on Twitch, you can drop a follow on Twitter. All of this is free, and you can drop a comment because that helps me a lot. And if you joined towards the tail end of the stream, go check out the REEStream segment of this stream. DSP had a massive salty rant about Shills that I think was very funny, and we also watched his most popular video of all time, the Homefront Revolution. So thank you all for joining me today. We had a peak in popularity. I was white hot popular today. We had over 100 concurrent viewers, which was pretty crazy. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you probably tomorrow for the Ask the King